This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. JList and JBox.com have all new Japanese snacks on sale, and there's so many, so yummy. I love all the food adventures. You can head over to JBox or JList.com. Try out some of their brand new items. They've got the Morinaga Premium Sweet Potato Caramels, the Morinaga Premium Haichu Double Melon Flavor, the Fujiya Roasted Green Tea Milky Candies, the Crazy Nerune Cola, and you don't even know what a Nerune is, and I can't even say it. Petite Sweet Potato Cheese Snacks, and of course the very boldly named Glico Cream Colon, rich milk flavor. Head over to JList or JBox.com. They have a huge variety of snacks on sale. You can enjoy all sorts of wild and fun things that you've never tried before for a very cheap price. Most things are like $1, $2. With the help of JBox.com, you'll be eating your Japanese snacks while you watch anime just like you would if you lived in Japan. And now, of course, it's time to start the podcast.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aaapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome, everybody, yet again to the 531st episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. You just can't get rid of us. This podcast, he just keeps rolling on forever and ever, and I love you. Well, and we are here to make your anime addiction worse, so thank you, everybody, for tuning in on Twitch. Everybody listening at home. Some of you are, like, commuting in your cars, you're grocery shopping, you're in the gym, you're getting your pump. You're like, oh, Mitsuki's voice, I'm getting so pumped. Wherever you're listening from, thank you for making us part of your day. We're glad to have you. And if you want to help out the podcast, you can do it over at www.aaapodcast.com/join, where we just did a hentai episode last week, and this week we did a Hobby Addicts, where we are going to be we talked about lots of video games. Mandi and Mason collaborated on Hyper Light Drifter, I believe it was, and more on Monster Hunter World. I talked about the 4th of July and just this smorgasbord of just donuts. Oh, I ate 9 Krispy Kreme donuts last week or yesterday, and I can't talk today. 9 Krispy Kreme donuts yesterday, and I am not ashamed of it. I enjoyed every one of them. And of course, after the podcast today, it's going to be an after party, so stay tuned for that. Of course, you get 8 additional episodes per month for just about $1 an episode over at aaapodcast.com/join. Social media, of course, we're over on Twitch. Twitch, I didn't even introduce the host. I'm like off today.
You didn't. I was just waiting.
I'm like so off today. You guys,
I was so excited. I was just letting it go.
I don't know.
I wasn't
going
to say anything. 2.5 hours of just Mitsuki, and I can just sit back and drink my water.
This is
I'm
just,
down for
you
that.
know what?
Just make reaction
You know
faces.
what?
Like,
I know
Yeah.
what's going. I know what's going on.
It's like the Japanese like talk shows where they're talking about stuff, and you always have the reaction person going,
Yeah, the host and like the picture in like the top
Yeah,
corner. Just
that's
like,
us.
Oh, sugoi.
oh.
Let's try this again. Okay, wait. Now I'm back on track. I'm your host, Mitsugi, and I am joined by the ever-delicious M&Ms of the podcast. We have Mandi and Mason. How are you guys doing today?
Good. I got a new car this week.
Oh my God!
I also got my license this week.
Wait, what?
And she holds up a Hunter x Hunter
Oh!
card.
I'm like, wait, you've been driving without a license?
It's actually a USB. I thought it was really cool.
And what can you do with that?
I put stuff on it.
Oh, cool.
And also now I can officially hunt things.
And you can drive from place to place now with a vehicle, which is very important.
I can.
It's very
Which
important.
is also very helpful.
And Mason, how about you? What do you have going on? As I take a bite of this holdover of just 4th of July, just America's birthday donuts. It's just, okay, go ahead.
You know, when you eat this 10th donut, they truly will have become decadent.
It's so good.
And yes, for those who, like me, heard the ad at the intro and were like, what the heck is cream colon? Cream colon are small cream-filled biscuits. So that's, I guess, what the flavor is. So we're just all food on this episode.
Also,
I
you
guess.
know, hentai episodes.
Also, going off the track.
Listen, guys, Krispy Kreme donuts beat the tar out of Dunkin' Donuts. Like, it's not even close. I won't hear the argument. There's no reason to hear it. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. Anyway, we are just chaos today, and I am sorry. So you guys, you can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/AAA podcast. We are all on Twitch as well. We will give those out later, but if you're watching live on Twitch, you can see it live on Twitch on the screen. Of course, we are live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. You can watch us. Please watch us. We like having a live audience. We feed off your energy. We like all your input. You know, you can come in and talk trash. Like, Mitsuki, he's got some really terrible taste. Like, oh, how could you possibly fail Tower of God, but then pass the Sacho-san anime? Like, credibility gone. We're on Facebook. You can find us at on Facebook.com. We're also on Discord. Listen, the Discord is where you want to be at all times for us. The Discord, we have almost 2,000 people on our Discord, and many of them are active, and there's people on there just like you. You can make a lot of great friends on there. I have made a ton of good friends on there. I found my girlfriend on Discord. Like, listen, the possibilities are endless, and I recommend it. And, of course, what do we have going on the Discord, since you guys are the arbiters of all of that fun stuff?
Sure. So the big event coming up is on July 10th. Red alert. We are find the Lone Wolf and Cub watch party. So at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're all going to gather in the voice chat, and we are going to all watch at the same time the epic film, the first film of the adaptation Lone Wolf and Cub. I have prepared bingo sheets for us to play along, and it will be a just nightmare of good times. I'm expecting a ton of memes to come out of it, and come hang out. I think it'll be a ton of fun. You don't need to bring anything except headphones to listen to. And you're free to talk if you want or don't want to, but it'll be a good time. We also, on a similar vein, we have, with the new season coming out, watch parties started. So those will be on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. There'll be 4 or 5 anime from the new season that we'll collect and watch episode 1 of and just kind of talk about them and see what we think. So join for those. Final from me is the Anime Club. We will be discussing Death Parade on July 15th. Also, surprise, surprise, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that show is going to be a rollicking good time. If you haven't seen it, please check it out and then join us on that date.
Also, in 3 days, on July 8th, we have my manga club, and we're reading all of Planet Test. I forgot to bring the manga up here again. Normally I show it off. I forgot it again. It's on my shelf. Just wasn't thinking.
So good.
But yeah, we'll be reading all of it. So all together, I think, because they come in omnibus volumes in English, I think it's 4 volumes total. So if you want to join, you should probably start now. But it's going to be fun. All you got to do is show up in the manga voice channel on Discord on July 8th at 10 p.m. EDT. And we'll just have a very relaxing, laid-back discussion on it. You don't even have to talk if you don't want to. You can just listen in. So it'll be fun. Come join us.
And Planet Test is super good. Like, wow. I mean, absolutely something you should experience. So,
yeah. Vikings in space. I'm just kidding. It's not.
That would be wild, though. If it was.
It's just the same author as Vinland Saga. So.
Oh, is it really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a wild difference between the two.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we were doing anime merit badges today for this episode, where we had a ton of people weighed in on the, see, when we put out a call to action to the anime addicts on the Discord. Another reason why you should be on the Discord, by the way. People answer. It was Thursday afternoon, and I said, you know what? Let's do the anime merit badge idea that Mason had, and people will weigh in and they'll say, well, you know, if you ever watched 2 anime at the same time, literally at the same time, then you get this merit badge. You know, I said, come up with the wackiest, craziest merit badges you can on Discord, and we had 100 suggestions immediately. So we're going to go through some of these fun anime merit badges so we can see how many we can collect amongst ourselves, and you can play along at home. And of course,
it was like the scene from Lord of the Rings where we light the towers, the fires across the mountaintops, and you guys, our audience, responded to the call. Gondor came to our aid, and we thank you.
Nice. That's nice, Mason. And of course, we have the long-awaited review of Tower of God, so I will be doing that. and which was the listener choice from the prior season. So, and with that, are we all ready to roll?
I think so.
Send it.
Send it, he says.
Oh, 大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
The big news of the week for this week is KyoAni is starting to recruit again. That's pretty awesome. So it looks like KyoAni is gearing up to bring us some great anime in the future. Of course, delays from COVID, but
Of course.
still, they are, starting to recruit again since the horrible horrible studio arson fire. But KyoAni put work on hiatus from starting April 13th due to COVID. And they originally planned for the hiatus to last only 1 month, but extended it to May 31st. But now they're hiring again. So they're hiring animators, managers, system engineers, general affairs personnel, and 3D CG positions are open. And the studio is also accepting applications for enrollment. And it looks like their sister studio is doing a training program. Is that what that means?
Yeah, they have like a animator training program running for their, I guess, another studio that's related by ownership, I suppose. So I'm not sure if it's related by ownership, but they call it a sister studio, so I'm guessing that's the case.
Yeah.
So.
But the course will run from October 3rd, 2020 to September 25th of 2021. And some of their upcoming films that they're working on are the Violet Evergarden film, says September 18th is when it's planning to come out. And then, oh, sorry, did you have something
I don't know
else?
if I don't know if that date holds or not, but that's
True, yeah.
Yeah, what to see.
That's the plan, at least.
Yeah.
They have a new free film coming out, and they also have 20 Seki Denki Mokuroku. I don't know what that is.
I think it's like
But it's on the
20th
list?
century train
Boys?
car
I'm
or
just kidding.
something.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
20th century boys. I wish.
Mandy,
I wish.
Mandy about jumped out of her skin just now.
Could you imagine KyoAni doing 20th Century Boy?
I don't
I
know.
can't.
They would make it look too good. Like it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't look right.
It wouldn't look like an Urasawa work at all.
No, it wouldn't.
So yeah. Anything you guys want to see KyoAni do?
Well, I'm just happy. I think the fact that they're hiring means that KyoAni is getting back on track and is gearing up for a return to us. You know, I say that in like the endearing way. It's like, I know we're all missing KyoAni because everyone loves Kyoto Animation, and it's always like, whatever they do is always something that people look forward to, on average, probably more than any other studio. And we're all probably feeling very nostalgic about them now because they've been away for a year or so, and we all want them. So it's like the fact that they're hiring now means that they are going to be they're going to be creating anime again, because nobody would hire that many, like that wide breadth of different positions. You know, that's expensive. And so that means that they're definitely going to be looking to use them to make money. And so they're going to be making anime again soon. And I think that's, you know, to me, that was the big takeaway, is that it's, you know, it's exciting. Like, we're going to get KyoAni back again. And, you know, it took a whole year, and things have been hard for everybody with coronavirus and all the other bad circumstances. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys want to see from KyoAni? Like, I was just thinking about the stuff they've done, and like, what would you like to see going forward?
I want to see more originals, because I don't know, anything KyoAni puts out I always give a shot because I usually end up loving it.
Yeah, that's why I'm so pleased with this like lineup here, because you have Violet Evergarden, which is a return to form. It's gonna make us get those KyoAni feels. You get the free film coming out for the Pretty Boys and
My
great
free boys.
animation. Exactly, like two beloved series. Then we have 20th Century, which is going to be like a new original series. This is another one that like won the
Yeah.
novel writing prize. So you get new stuff, which is going to be great. You get the old favorites coming back. So I'm pleased.
And now we have 20th Century Boys coming out. Confirmed.
not
I'm just
boys.
kidding.
I don't know what it is. 20th Century.
I'm just kidding.
I think it's like Train Car or something. I don't know.
Mm.
I'm hyped though. I'm hyped. More
Yeah.
KyoAni is a win.
It's like KyoAni was the studio that I never really knew who made all these anime that I watched when I was a kid, but then I look back at it, and between, you know, the anime that they made like right out of the gate, it's like I've seen everything they've done, and I didn't know, I wasn't following KyoAni, but like Full Metal Panic, Air, Haruhi Suzumiya, Canon, Clannad, K-On!, Haruhi Suzumiya, like all this stuff. I've seen all of it, and it's like I feel like there's an important reason for that. It can't be coincidence that I've seen 20 KyoAni series without knowing anything about them, and I don't know, they're just great. And so I think I'd like to see like more. I feel like they do comedy really well. They've done a lot of comedy shows, and I think that they're really spot on with it when they do it. And so I'd kind of like to see some like lighthearted stuff from KyoAni coming up in the future. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, and I know it'll be just gorgeous, I'm sure, and we're just looking forward to having KyoAni back on track. So that's about it. That's about it for me. Oh boy. All right. Well, anything else from KyoAni, guys? Just positive feelings.
Nope. It looks like some people want another season of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. That'd be cute.
Sure. Yeah. And that would be a comedy too, so that would
Yes.
fit in. That would fit in well. All right. Well, we do have some new anime here. There were some pretty highly talked about shows here that are going to be made into anime on my anime list. So I'm going to go through some of these right now.
It's time for hot new anime releases.
Hoping to maybe get some backup from Mandi here, because these are manga I've never heard about. But the Senpai ga when I go through my anime list and I'm looking up like their news stories, when I see like there's a story, oh, this manga is being made into an anime, and it has like 90 comments on it, that means that it's something that like people know and that they care about. And a lot of these were like that. So Senpai ga Uzai Kohai no Hanashi, the manga, is getting an anime adaptation. It's an adaptation of Shiro Manta's romantic comedy manga. It says 5 volumes out, and Doga Kobo is going to be doing the anime of it, and it's a romance comedy about Igarashi Futaba's new job, and how great it would be if her senpai Takeda Harumi wasn't so annoying to her. And Futaba hates his laugh, she hates how big he is, and if you look at the picture on the article, like he is like double. It reminds me of My Love Story sort of, because he's just huge.
God, this looks like me and my best friend in high school, because he was huge guy and I'm like 5 foot, guys. We were just like this.
So she's like so short. He treats her like a little kid, but just because Futaba is short and looks young doesn't make her a kid. And just because she spends so much time with Takeda doesn't mean that she sees him as anything other than senpai, or does she? So cute, like romance comedy story coming out here. So, and it had a lot of people talking about it. So I think that one looks cute. It gives me the My Love Story vibes, and that was a pretty enjoyable anime. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, I
to
hadn't heard of this but it does have an English official volume coming out, but not till July. So that's why I haven't heard of it yet.
Gotcha.
But when that comes out, maybe I'll do a manga minute on it before the anime comes out. We'll see.
Yeah, well, it does have 5 volumes, so you'll have a little bit to sink your teeth into. I'm going to try to post these. We don't really post links into Twitch, but I'm going to try this and see if it'll allow me to do this without freaking out. So there's a link on Twitch to the article. The second anime here, I got 3 of these. This one has a very unusual synopsis, but it had the most stories and the most talk of anything the whole week. So I've never heard of it, but someone in the Discord already mentioned it. So the manga, Ijira Naide Nagatono-san, or Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatono. Literally, I think Ijira Naide means like don't bully me, I think, is more of the like literal translation. It's an adaptation of Nanashi's manga, and the director is Hirokazu Hanai, and the studio is Telecom Animation Film, so the same studio that did Tower of God. It's about this high schooler, Hayase Nagatono, who spends her free time doing one thing in particular, and that's bullying her senpai. Nagatono resolves to continue to be cruel to him, and she plays this game with him where she visits him daily so she can force him into doing whatever interests her at the time, especially if it makes him uncomfortable, and she'll make fun of his hobbies and just generally be mean to him. And the synopsis...
I don't think I'd like that. That sounds awful.
The synopsis
is
from
this
Mal...
the sequel to Teasing Master Takagi-san?
I
forgot about that.
I don't know, but I'm gonna post the Twitch the link here into the Twitch again for people.
No bully, please. Thank you.
The synopsis sounded very cruel. Like, it was very much like she picks on him for everything, and he, in not a nice way. And the synopsis continues. Literally, I'm reading this from Mal. Slightly aroused by and somewhat fearful of Nagatono, Senpai is constantly roped into her antics, and as time goes on, Senpai realizes that he doesn't dislike Nagatono's presence, and the two of them develop an uneasy friendship as one patiently puts up with the antics of the other. So, I don't know. And we'll see. She looks drunk as hell. And if you look at she looks like she just
I was
drank.
laughing at that.
She's so sloshed.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't like it.
I think it's going to transition into some kind of like a romance, it feels like, and maybe she's picking on him because she has a crush on him. I don't know, but awful lot of people.
He's slightly aroused.
He is. That's what it says literally in the synopsis. And people in the Discord have already been mentioning this now, and
Oh, really?
a few people did, and I don't know much about it other than that she looks drunk as hell, and I think it's going to be like this unexpected like romance. So I think it'll be although I haven't read the manga, so I'm just guessing. And then of course,
sometimes people have some weird kinks, so we'll see.
Well, yep.
Flyboy in the chat is concurring that it's the ecchi version of Takagi-san, so
Got it.
ooh, possibly.
And then, of course, Mitsuki is very excited, and I'm very angry that they made us wait this long. But Dr. Stone, The Stone Wars, has been confirmed for January 2021, making fans wait definitely too long for even like an announcement because it's been over a year. And I don't know. Everything else, like when these other shonen shows like Boruto and stuff, they never quit running. They just run forever. And you blink and there's like 140 episodes, but I have to wait a whole year to even get an announcement for season 2 of Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone, of course, began serialization in Shonen Jump in March 2017. It's got 16 volumes out, which is good, and it's got 5 million copies in print. And of course, summer 2019 was when we got the last Dr. Stone. So, and I watched the teaser trailer. It looks very epic. This is like, they got like Senku with his like makeshift rifle that he made using science or whatever, and he's got his headband on and his flash bulb, and there's like all these characters that they're showing from, I can't even remember the bad guy's name at this point, but he's got like all these people that he recruited. Tsukasa might be right, yeah. And he's got like a guy that uses a bow, and he looks like an archer, and he's got like all these conventional like warriors on his side that are going to be exceptionally good fighters, I'm guessing. And then Senku can't fight worth a damn, but he's going to use like science to combat. And I think this is going to, whereas the last season was a lot of like setup and science and some comedy, this one is going to have a lot more action in it, I think, is that what I got from the teaser. And I'll post this one into the Twitch as well. So I know Dr. Stone was maybe not the most heavily watched show of its season, because I think there might have been a My Hero Academia season, but it was definitely up there. So more things for people to enjoy, and I know I'm counting the days, and I haven't done that in a long time for an anime, so very excited. So some good stuff being announced, and it's good. It's good.
Heck yeah.
All right, guys. So that's hot new anime releases. So.
And with that, we'll move to our trivia section. So first up is our website trivia with the last week of Mason's lesser-known favorites, with the answer being Kuchu Barranco, a.k.a. Trapeze, a.k.a. who the heck knows what it's called, but it's really good. Go watch it. The winner for the week was Black Kid Buu, and the winner for the month was Zero Rokyo, 1974. So congrats. I don't know if we have a drop of people applauding his accomplishment.
I can never, the soundboard is so bloated, I just cleaned it out, but it's still, there's still 200 drops on it, so I can't find anything. I can't find anything ever.
Regardless,
yeah.
Congrats.
Yep, congratulations. And you have already selected your prize, which I have already sent to you, so thank you very much for being a great fan and for playing trivia.
So prompt. But next month, most importantly, after months of acclaim, Mandi is finally getting her lesser-known favorites. So if you think you know Mandi, check out our website, aapodcast.com, and see if you can guess what her
it's
favorites
4
are.
months of Hunter x Hunter.
4 weeks, but
4 weeks, 4 months, 4 years.
4 months, everyone wins trivia. And also, we have an intro weekly trivia question while we go to our first news break. In Power of God, Leroro, which sounds like Rorio from Hunter x Hunter. Anyway, he's the ranker and testament of the second floor, but he is modeled after what Pokemon? We'll let you know in just a bit, so stay tuned.
Hey, anime addicts, Mitsuki is here bringing you your anime news, leading us off with, well, finally, Sonic the Hedgehog, the film, made it to Japan, where it really belonged in the first place. And, however, very, very late, months and months after the original release of the movie, and during the height of concerns over coronavirus, so the film, very depressed earnings, coming in only at number 6 in their box office with about $584,000 in its first 3 days. Not a very good showing for Sonic the Hedgehog. Coming in behind a variety of Ghibli films, as they've been doing in the United States. Movie theaters are pretty desperate to find things to put on the screen since Hollywood has not been making really any movies, and the top 3 films were all Ghibli movies: Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and Nausicaa the Valley of the Wind, bringing in $854,000, $790,000, and also smaller amounts, respectively, for the 3 films. So Sonic the Hedgehog not doing too well in Japan, but maybe the video release will do better. Next up, Knights of Sidonia is getting a new anime film for 2021. The Sidonia no Kishi CG anime series that came out quite a while ago from the animation studio Polygon Pictures. It's going to feature content different from what was in the original manga by Tsutomu Nihei. It's going to have a new story. So the chief director is Hiroyuki Seishita of Ajin. Director is Tadahiro Yoshihide of Kute Dragons. So just a lot of staff from Polygon Pictures who does some pretty good work with CG. So if you're a fan of Knights of Sidonia, look out for the Knights of Sidonia film coming out in 2021. Next up, Idolmaster just won't go away, and the Idolmaster mobile game Million Live is getting a TV adaptation. So this game is published by Bandai Namco back in February of 2013 on Android, and then subsequently on the iOS platform. So looks like it ended back in March 2019, but they're going to be coming out with a new anime series for you to enjoy. Shinya Watada is going to be helming the series at animation studio Shirogumi, and Yoichi Kato will be in charge of the script and composition. So if you're a fan of Idolmaster, look out for more of that coming out in the future. They didn't give a date, but I can only imagine it will be sometime in 2021. Lastly, the popular One Piece cookbook is getting a re-release on July 3rd, which already has occurred. So if you're a fan of One Piece, you will be able to buy the pirate recipes Umi no Ichiryu Ryori-nin Sanji no Manpuku Gohan, or One Piece Pirate Recipes First Class Cook of the Seas Sanji's Filling Meals cookbook, coming out for about roughly $14. It's going to have a whole lot of different recipes in it. They've got about 250,000 copies in circulation. It has illustrations in it as well. If you're a big fan of One Piece, and you want to eat like a pirate, you'll be able to get that cookbook. I don't know where to buy it, but I'm sure you'll be able to find it online. This is Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, of course, time to get back to the podcast. Anime addicts, JList and JBox.com are your premier source for all sorts of Japanese snacks, and now they have a new variety available for you to choose from. All new snacks from Japan at JBox.com. The Morinaga Premium Sweet Potato Caramels, the Morinaga Premium Haichu Double Melon Flavor, Fujiya Roasted Green Tea Milky Candy, Crazy Neru Ne Cola Flavor, which is probably what I would get, Petite Seaweed Cheese Snacks, Glico Cream Colon Rich Milk. Who doesn't want a Glico Cream Colon? So many just bizarre snacks that you've never had from Japan, and everybody likes to try new things, especially candies and snacks. The variety of snacks on JList or JBox.com is huge. You can head over there and enjoy all sorts of wild and fun snacks that you and I have honestly never tried before, and the prices are really cheap. Things are usually around $1 or $2. And with the help of JBox.com, you'll be eating your Japanese snacks while you watch anime just like you would if you lived in Japan. So go over to JList or JBox.com now, browse their snack selection, find something yummy for yourself, and enjoy.
Hi there, my name is Spike Spencer. I'm the voice of Shinji Ikari and many other crazy bastards. And I am an anime addict.
All right, guys, we're back to the podcast. In the show, Tower of God, Leroro, the Ranker, and test admin of the second floor is modeled after what Pokemon?
Leorio.
So many to choose from, but if not quite. Man, you're still got Hunter x Hunter on the brain. Pikachu.
Always.
Pikachu will be the answer, of course.
Are you sure it's not Pichu?
I see what you did there.
I don't know.
Is it Mimikyu?
According to the
Creator.
creator, Sui, it was Pikachu.
What does he know? He's not a Pokemon master.
It's very true.
All right. Well, as we do every week, it's time for Mandy's Manga Minute. Mandy's gonna bring to you a great manga for you to try out on your own and see if you like it. So, are you ready, Mandy, to get rolling?
Yes, I'm ready.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and hope you find something new to read. This one is called Not Your Idol, which came recommended to me. After that day, she stopped being a girl. In the wake of an assault, Nina Kamiyama, a former idol in the group Pure Club, shuns her femininity and starts dressing as a boy. At high school, she keeps to herself, but fellow student Hikaru Horiuchi realizes who she is. What secrets is she keeping? That shocking drama starts. So, Not Your Idol is a teen drama written and illustrated by Aoi Makino. It is still publishing, with one volume currently available in English, and the series also goes by the name Sayonara Miniskirt, in case you've seen it on some other sites. That's another name for it. So Not Your Idol honestly was a very difficult read for me. I've only read the first volume, because that's all we have available right now. But it's definitely not something that I would recommend for everybody, and I feel like it definitely comes with some content warnings for assault. It never shows anything in a graphic way, but the content is still relatively dark and heavy. Our main girl, Nina, used to be a very popular idol until a crazy fan attempts to stab her with a knife out of jealousy. And she leaves the idol world behind, and the first volume focuses a lot on the trauma that she has sustained. Nina now tries to disguise herself as a young boy, believing that being a girl makes her a target for harassment. And we meet some other girls at Nina's school who are also dealing with harassment in like their own ways. And Nina also meets a boy at her school, Hikaru, who wants to be her friend and help her learn how to trust again. And I feel like the manga does make an attempt to reach out to its intended audience and confront the mixed messages that some young girls face concerning all of the accusations that are thrown at them, but it can also be an anxiety-driven nightmare for some readers, and really difficult for me to recommend to everybody. If you like darker themes, there are some interesting conversations in this manga, but if you're uncomfortable with the topic of sexual assault in your media, then I would definitely recommend not trying this one out. And as far as the art goes, the art's very clean, but this is a shoujo beat title, so the panels sometimes are packed with dialogue boxes, as you can see. A lot of shoujo beat manga are. But yeah, you can try that one out. I don't know if it was for me. I don't know if I'm going to continue it. I might read the next one just to see if it lightens up a little bit, because this first volume is very heavy. Just a warning.
Did you mention how many volumes of it are out so far?
I don't know about Japan, but in English, we only have one volume.
Okay.
The next one, I think, is available for pre-order, I think.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mandy bringing the hot hits right to you. Something for you to try out every week, honestly. It's like, really, that's how it plays, I think. It's like the weekly recommendation. Well, now, of course, it's time to get spicy. We're going to walk right into the fires of a spicy argument with Mason. Are you ready?
Always.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to another edition of Anime Arguments, where people submit their hot takes, unpopular opinions, or just questions that they want us to answer. And I might need help with this one because I'm actually not too opinionated on this topic for once. So this comes from HeroU135. They say, in the next 10 years, the anime industry will go through a major change that I'm calling now. Funimation and Aniplex will both go bankrupt and will get bought out by Netflix, which will create an international anime streaming juggernaut and will finally get around the weekly show releases. So, first up, Funimation and Aniplex are like 95% owned by Sony. So that makes me hesitant to think that they're going to be just picked up like that from Netflix that easily. I feel like with the growth of anime in recent years, like Sony's going to do a lot to like keep them on board, and I don't know if Netflix would be able to strong arm them out of that. So I think that's the first topic. So do you agree with that statement? That you think Funimation and Aniplex will even go bankrupt in the next 10 years?
10 years is a long time. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader or a fortune teller, but Aniplex, damn, for how much they charge for their physical releases, they ain't going bankrupt anytime soon. All those people are buying that shit, they ain't going bankrupt.
What, $50 for like a 3-episode Blu-ray?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's insane. And people buy it. I'm like, why?
I think Monogatari's on that though, so they're good for life.
I think Dornada, they released that, and it was like, oh my god, like they released that whole series over so many different parts, and each part was like $100, and I'm like, are you serious? It's crazy.
Go ahead.
My thought on this is more of the second half. I don't think that Netflix. First of all, Netflix is already a juggernaut, so I don't know. Internationally, Netflix is probably slowly expanding, but Netflix, I mean, frankly, Netflix is a bigger company than Sony already. You might be surprised by that, but if you just look at like their market cap on, like, I'm looking at it right now here on Yahoo Finance, and Netflix both makes more money than and is worth more money in terms of their stock valuation than Sony is by a lot, by the way. I don't even know that Netflix would even bother with these companies. Like Netflix, Funimation is like putting a teaspoon of water into like a swimming pool. Funimation is that small compared to Netflix, and I just don't think that they would even bother really with them. You know, I think Netflix already has a bunch of anime. They've already indoctrinated themselves to anime studios, and they've had frankly just like a ton of stuff in the last year or two, and I just don't know that Netflix would even bother to buy up someone like Funimation or Aniplex. I don't know much about Aniplex, to be honest, and they're both private companies, I guess, so there's not much info, but Netflix is just so big. I mean, they would probably just expand their footprint like holistically.
And so, I feel like Netflix really, instead of like Crunchyroll or Funimation where they get the anime and then bring an audience to their platforms to get the anime, Netflix has just gotten the audience first and now is expanding onto anime. So I feel like they're not trying to appeal to the anime crowd by having like a weekly release. They're like, oh, if you want to watch anime, we have it, and boom, here's an entire season or entire show. I feel like they're not going to change that format anytime soon. I mean, I could see years on the line, maybe, but I think they're going to stick with releasing either the shows by their full core every time it comes out. I think, if anything, similar to how like live streaming services have kind of like dissipated, I think everyone's going to want to get onto the streaming platform of anime. So like, you know how like Disney broke off and made their own thing, and NBC broke off and have their own streaming source. I feel like my bold prediction is like mono sites like Webtoon are going to see the value of their properties and being adapted and try to attach themselves onto their own, like get a bigger, larger brand to umbrella them into getting their own like streaming industry, and we'll get even more dissipation. I think that might happen, unfortunate as it is. So that's my prediction. But all things in the end on an infinite timeline will merge under Amazon, and that's our fate. So it is what it is. As long as we get to see the anime, that's all I really care about.
I wouldn't be surprised if either Funimation or Aniplex went out of business. Probably more Funimation, but if they did, it would probably be because someone like Netflix put them there. But as I just looked up, Netflix has, as of last year, 100 million international subscribers. So they don't exactly have a small footprint internationally. So I think you can kind of already call them an international juggernaut. So I just don't think that it'd be worth it to them. Like I don't know. Usually when a company buys another company, they want something. Like they want like an intellectual property license, or they want some kind of infrastructure that they want to be able to, that would help their own business thrive. But I just don't see what Funimation would offer Netflix, considering that they, other than like maybe licenses, but
who knows?
I just don't know. I mean,
who even knows what the internet's going to be like in 5 years? So let alone streaming.
Yeah. We'll see if we even make it 5 years.
Yeah, for real. With the way 2020 is going, and with but like even if they did buy Funimation, they would just buy the licenses and just dissolve Funimation. Probably just they would be like, okay, well here's these 500 anime you control. Well, now they're on Netflix and you don't exist anymore. That it isn't like, I don't think that I wouldn't see Funimation really contributing enough to Netflix that they would bother keeping around like anything beyond that. But like you said, Mason, I don't know that Sony is going to let Funimation just tank into the ground. So,
we'll see. We'll keep our eyes on it.
That was a good question though. I like that.
Yeah,
that was up my alley. I like that. We'll see.
And with that, we can move on to our main topic. So this is this is kind of inspired by, like, in Boy Scouts, when you are going through the program, they're like, oh, if you accomplish a task or demonstrate the skill in something, they give you a little patch for your uniform. Like if you go out camping and you make a fire out of just like natural stuff, you get like a campfire badge. Or if you learn how to like tie sailor knots or something, you might get a knot badge, something like that. So I thought it'd be fun to put out a call to see what sort of anime merit badges should exist in the world, kind of measure how you stack up on the anime spectrum. And I feel like, people are like, oh, you need to have seen this many shows to be a quote unquote true anime fan, or like this show to be. I think that's all bogus. But I'd say if you get at least one of these badges, you're a true anime fan. So keep track at home, see how you rank up, and let's see how much of weebs we actually are. So I figured we'd start off with some basic ones and kind of devolve into the stuff later. So I guess if there's no questions, we can get started. So the first badge I called Old School Cool.
Are we keeping track of these?
Would you like me to?
Some of these I don't know how I'm going to check them.
We can try our best. This is very loose. This is more for the listeners at home, and we can keep track ourselves. So the first one is
curious how many I'll get.
Yeah, Old School Cool. So this is, you get this badge if you've watched an anime that came out before 1980.
Yes, we all have. We did a review on one.
Yeah, what was that? Yamato?
Like Space Battleship Yamato?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can also watch like Anne of Green Gables, Rose of Versailles. These are all classic anime. So if you have that, if you've seen one of those shows or anything else from before that era, you get a point. You get a badge. These aren't all necessarily good badges to get, by the way. I'm just saying they're out there.
And I'll remind Mason that he still has Future Boy Conan to watch if he hasn't watched it already.
I'm a quarter of the way through it.
Is it already? You already love it, don't you?
It's pretty great. It's like I'm treating it like a perpetual Saturday morning cartoon, where every morning I wake up and watch one episode, and it's so charming.
There's gonna be some like jarringly emotional moments in that anime. Just get ready. It's some good shit. Okay.
Conan's a beefy little boy. He's a strong lad.
He is.
Next up are a couple that are all very similar, so we'll push them all together. Next up is The Long Haul. If you've watched any series that's over 200 episodes, I think we've all hit that.
Oh, yeah.
Similar, Taco Wolf in the Discord suggested Glutton for Punishment, which was completing 5 anime, each with over 100 episodes. A little different, but I think we've all done that. I mean, you've got your Gintamas, your Hunter x Hunter, your Yu Yu Hakusho, Legend of Galactic Heroes, Psyche Kuso, if you want to be technical, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Space Brothers, if you count like one OVA to get to 100, I'll allow it.
Inuyasha.
Yeah, there you go. I haven't seen it, but there you go.
I'm not really sure I have this one. I'm going to have to think about it. Well, I don't know. I mean, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball... Oh, yeah. Do we count Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all as different?
Sure. There you go.
Sure, why not?
Then I'm definitely definitely then.
There we go. So we all have 3 points so far. Next up, it's over 9,000, suggested by Sozu, which was watch over 9,000 episodes of anime.
Yes.
Doesn't Mal summarize this somewhere?
It does on your main page. It'll give
your
you a total
stats.
episode list.
I'm just a few off of 10,000.
Ooh, very nice.
I do not have this one. I have 8,107.
But have you
So-
been keeping track of all the stuff you watched? I'm guessing not. And I'm guessing if you were, you'd get there.
I load them all like maybe every half a year. I load them in, but I don't think that the stuff we've watched for the podcast in the last half a year is going to get me there. So
Okay.
I'm going to say no on this one. I don't think I have it.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep working on it. You know, it's just something for me to get later.
Gotcha. Next one is called the Hipster Badge. If you've completed a series that is on less
Oh.
than 5,000 lists on Mel, which
I had no
you all
idea.
have because I figured you would be too lazy to look it up. If you watched Gurazeni season 2, that's less than 5,000. So this is not people who have watched it.
Damn.
This is not people who have planned to watch it. This is watch, drop, planning, on hold, like any categorization. If it's on anyone's list, it counts. And less than 5,000 people have seen Gurazeni. So you're a
That's
hipster.
So
Damn.
sad.
Congrats.
We're such hipsters.
2020.
Poor Gudazeni. It really deserves better. You know. So that's such a low number.
It is. It is.
I mean, I just checked OG-san No Lamp because I'm like, how many people really watch this? Like tiny
A
OVA.
lot.
Well, yeah, a hell of a lot more than 5,000. Damn.
Exactly. So
Okay. Wow.
there you go. This one's tough to, so no worries. So and the last one is called
Goodness.
the It'll Get Better badge, and it's to never have dropped a show.
Oh, I don't
Which
have that shit.
none of us have done. We've
No,
all
hell
dropped
no.
shows constantly. So we
No.
we aren't that pure.
Yeah, I think-
on the opposite end, go ahead.
I think I just dropped Kingdom, so I got confirmation and from people on our Discord. Again, you should join our Discord because people on there know everything. But they were like, if you don't like Kingdom by now, it's just going to be the same. And most of the good score online is just because the manga is like godlike. So I dropped it. There's other things to watch. So
I've heard the same.
okay.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the Nope Award or Instant Regret,
oh yes.
substituted by Gizmo or Sajinther. And they say, have you dropped an anime after the first 10 minutes of watching it?
Yes.
I have. Yep.
Do you know
Mhm.
which ones?
Oh yeah.
DSE Day.
Huh.
That shit was so crazy. I was like, what the hell is this?
Well, I'm really grumpy. So when I watched like Lucky Star, I don't think I got more than 10 minutes into Lucky Star. It's just too fucking hyper. And the same went for Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. Sorry, Mason, I know you like that anime, but it was just too much screaming and just way too hyper. I don't know. It was too frantic, too frenetic, maybe. So yeah, I got that one.
I get you.
How about you,
I
Mason?
think
Do
the
you
most
have it?
recent example is Sutton Gakuen from Winter 2020. It's like the animal like high school show. I was immediately repulsed by it and just couldn't even make it halfway. So I've done it before though, and it feels good. It feels really good to drop things. The next one is the Ultimate Binge, aka the Mandi Marathon, which is finish 42 episodes of a show in 1 week.
Nope. Never done that.
No, never.
You-
Done. No, I've
Never done
definitely done this. I feel like Hajime no Ippo. I think I've
Yeah,
done it,
I think so too.
and maybe Code Geass. I think those are at least the two that come to mind that are just super easy to binge that just plow through.
Yeah, I think I watched all of Hajime no Ippo in like 2 days in college.
Hmm.
So
I
The
wouldn't
only-
know because I've never done this before. in
Yeah,
my
the only
life.
reason Mandy doesn't get this badge all the time is that often shows aren't 24 episodes long, or 42 episodes. Sorry, that's the only thing holding her back.
wait, this
I
badge is
lied. I finished like all of Yu Yu Hakusho in 1 week.
this badge is like too easy for Manny. It needs to be like 100 episodes in a week.
Yeah. That's like 1 day. What the hell? Come on,
Exactly.
guys.
That's impossible.
So
How
these
do you-
next couple ones I think are really funny, and these are all
Okay.
submitted by A Portrait of a Nikki on Fire,
Oh, man.
which is a shout out to a pretty cool movie. The first is called The Architect, obviously a reference to The Matrix, which is watch 2 different shows at the exact same time.
Did you name
Oh,
these
no,
or did
I
they
haven't done
name
that.
them?
I've named some of them, but they named this one,
Oh,
and
this
it was
is
too
just
good.
fantastic. Does it mean this is literally like 2 screens running at once, or does it mean like I watched an episode of this one, then watched another episode of another one?
No, it's 2 screens simultaneously playing anime.
No, I haven't done this. I don't think so.
I feel like as one has been like petering out, I've like loaded up the next one and like, done a very smooth transition, but I can't say I've actively like watched an entire episode of 2 shows at the same time.
I've stopped an episode because it reminded me of something else, and I went and watched that instead.
Sure.
I do that all the time.
This is a tough one to get. I don't think many people will get this one, but it's very fun.
If you're talking about like just an episode, maybe I have. But if you mean like the whole thing, then probably not. Because like think about it. If you're listening to dubs, it'd be so chaotic listening to 2 different like dialogues at the same time, and then I don't know who could read 2 sets of subtitles simultaneously.
I think maybe like if you're with your family and they're watching like a dub thing you've already seen, maybe you could watch something on your phone like sub. Listen, I don't know who's done this, but you're a mad lad if you have.
It's not me.
Next one, I'm sure some of us can relate to. It's called The Tingler. Have your legs fall asleep from watching anime on the toilet for too long.
The toilet?
No! So I will admit, 100%, I've never watched anime on the toilet, but I've definitely read manga on the toilet, and that will make my legs fall asleep.
I've never had
myself a half credit.
I've never had my legs fall asleep while I'm on the toilet. That just seems crazy.
Bro.
But
You get your power elbows, you just drive them into your thighs and just cut off all circulation, and then you walk around like a cowboy in the snow afterwards. Oh, it's a blast.
when I watch anime, I do sometimes watch it while crossing my legs, but not on the toilet.
But like, bro, listen. When you're taking a dookie, when the dookie's going down the toilet hole, right? But the dookie, take the dookie time. You don't want to sit Indian style leg on the toilet, because then the poopy get on your legs.
I don't think she was saying to cross-legged on the toilet. I think she was just saying in general.
How do your legs fall asleep when you're not like sitting on them?
You have really poor heart.
Listen,
You have heart problems.
Listen, if you had a trophy that said, "Oh, you've spent an hour on the toilet dealing with your business," then I think we would all probably say that's happened at least once. But even then, my legs don't fall asleep, so I'm not really sure how your legs fall asleep sitting on a toilet. So I can't say I have this.
Kneel when you like lean over and you drive your arms like above your knees, it cuts off circulation.
I have never experienced this.
Out there watching anime, which I have not done. Like I said, just manga. I'm a good boy. Well, I guess not. I guess I get the badge, and you guys are squares.
That is amazing that you have this.
Anyway, moving on.
You should probably get your heart checked out.
Damn.
This one I've definitely got. It's called Gas. Obviously, initial D reference. Watch a show on 1.5 times speed or faster.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Usually for emergencies, usually only like if I'm running short on time and I got to finish a show, then yeah. Boy, there are a lot of these merit badges. You guys came up with a lot of ideas. This is very lengthy. All right.
Watch it fast. Next up is Where Was I? Suggested by Gizmo. It's falling asleep while watching anime on autoplay, and then you spend ages trying to figure out the last part that you remember.
Oh,
Yep.
all the fucking time.
Oh, I've never done this.
Liar.
I did it last week when I was watching Inuyasha.
You've never done that? Are you joking, right, Mason?
I guess I don't have anything that does autoplay. I don't.
Oh my gosh, Mason. Never done this. Okay. I've woken up and I'm like 14 episodes beyond where I fell asleep from like watching it on Netflix or something, and it just keeps playing the next episode. It's been playing the whole night. Oh my god.
Do you run
That's
back or do you just roll with it?
Hell no,
Yeah,
I always go
is my
back. But I always go back.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm almost always watching stuff for the podcast, so I'm not gonna like, I have like a big hole in my like knowing what I'm talking about, so I always go back. But yeah.
I get you.
Yeah. Back in
Next
the
up
day.
is The Long Run
Yeah.
by Taco Wolf, aka The Boomerang, which is finished a show more than a year after starting it.
Oh yeah, I have that. Yu Yu Hakusho. A decade. There's a decade after starting it. Literally a decade.
There you go.
Oh,
Mandi, do you have an
Yeah, I've
example you
done
can
that.
think of?
Maid-sama. I started that ages ago and then never finished it. And finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to just finish the whole thing.
Next up is The Bilinguist. Watch a show both dubbed and subbed.
So at the same time or just?
Not at the same time. Just you watched it once in one, and then you went back and rewatched it again in the alternative.
I have.
Do you get the merit badge if you watch like half the show dubbed and half the show subbed, or do you have to watch the whole thing twice?
I'm gonna say
Just says same show.
I'm gonna say the whole show twice.
Oh no, I highly doubt it then.
I watched Ghost of the Shell all the way through. I started dubbed, then I watched it subbed later on.
I'll allow it. Next up is Pile of
What do
Shame.
you mean I'll allow it?
I'll allow it if it wasn't the full show.
I just said it was the full show.
You said at first and then later. You made it sound like you split it in half. Anyway, next up is Pile of Shame by Gizmo. It's have over 100 anime on your plan to watch list.
Well, wait a second, Mason. Did you get that last one? Come on. What is your example?
I've watched Fooly Cooly. I've watched Gurren Lagann to completion, both subbed and dubbed.
Okay. Good boy.
I try. Yeah, Pile of Shame. Have over 100 anime on your plan to watch list.
No.
I do not.
I
can't stand even having like 8 shows on my plan to watch list. Like my mallet has to be completely clean, otherwise I almost get nervous about it. So no, definitely not.
Mandy?
Not the moment. Probably in my head. I don't know. I don't really care that much. I only put them on there if it's something that I don't want to forget about. I'm not like keeping track.
Oh, this next one is tough.
Next one is Combo Breaker, also by Gizmo. Drop a show after watching more than 50 episodes of it, which I have done with both One Piece and Naruto, getting a couple hundred episodes into each.
I did that with Fairy Tail. Gosh, I watched over 200 of Fairy Tail, I think.
Yikes, I dropped that one in like 10 minutes.
I really don't know. I mean, oh man. The only thing I can think of that probably could possibly fit is Dragon Ball Kai, but then I can't really say I dropped Dragon Ball Kai. It's just long and I never finished it. So I'm going to have to say no on this one. You guys both got this one?
Yep.
You're pulling away from me. I'm keeping track of these. You're pulling away.
Thank you. We'll skip ahead for the sake of time and stuff. So next up, I put together some specialty badges for us, inspired by Zero Ryokyo. So the first up is the Mandi Brooch, which is you have to have watched all of Gintama, Hunter x Hunter, Hunter x Hunter 2011, Natsume Yuujinshou, and Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And you get a special edition Shiny Edition if you've rewatched all of them again.
Holy shit.
Not all of them. I've rewatched Hunter x Hunter a few times.
Wow.
I rewatched episodes of Gintama sometimes, but
you were thinking about Legend.
I'm thinking about Legend. Yeah.
She hasn't got the Shiny Edition yet, but she might be on her way. Next up is the Mason Crest, which is watch all of Tatami Galaxy, Rakugo Shinju, Ping Pong, Mushishi, Fooly Cooly, and Sangatsu no Lion. And the Shiny Edition of this one is if you've watched all these shows and don't like any of them.
I watched all of them. I like all of them too, so.
You guys are pulling away. Pulling away from me. I don't like it.
Next up is the Enzi Emblem, or the Enzo Begia, as I call it. You have to watch all of Beck, K-On!, Carol and Tuesday, Given, Your Land in April, Notame, Kids on Slope, and you get a Shiny Edition if you've written a song about them.
You cut out. Could you say that one more time for the
watched all of them.
Twitch stream?
Watch a bunch of intros and then write a song in honor of them.
I think you're skipping all over the place.
I don't have the Shiny Disc. Oh no, it's my connection question mark?
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
Yeah, so
okay.
the next one was the Enzo.
Someone else I believe that.
The next one was the Enzo Bagia, otherwise known as the Enzi Emblem, and you have to have watched Beck, K-On!. This is a long list. Beck, K-On!, Carol and Tuesday, Given, Your Lie in April, Nodame, Cantablier, and Kids on the Slope, and you get a Shiny Edition if you earned. Kimmy, you can earn the Shiny if you wrote a song about one of them. No.
I haven't seen Nodame, but I've seen all the others.
I haven't.
No songs, but
I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I've
seen them all.
All right, and then the Mitsugi Seal is. Let's see. I wonder if I have my own. Watch if you have watched all of Hajime no Ippo, GTO, Slam Dunk, 12 Kingdoms, Most Dangerous Geist, Yoa Pedal. No Shiny Edition, but flip the badge upside down if you also like any Moe show. Example is The
cute.
Order of Rabbit, No Non Bioti, Kaon, Lucky Star, Yudu Yuri.
I don't have this.
I get my own badge. That's good. That would be really sad if I didn't.
Slam Dunk's on my list.
I'm
I
like
haven't watched it
a
yet.
quarter of the way through Slam Dunk. Also, am I listenable now, or am I
A
still?
little bit.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's bad.
You can take over.
You guys take it away. You guys take it away then.
Okay. The next one is Cat Bus Driver. That's cute. Watch every Studio Ghibli film. I don't even get this one. Wow.
No, I don't get this one either.
I haven't seen Marnie. That's the only one I haven't seen.
Same. I haven't either.
I get this one. I've seen them all.
Wow. Was Marnie any good? I was told it wasn't very good, so I didn't bother.
It's fine at best.
Okay. I figured we seem to go to the I think me and the GF we caught we've seen maybe 7 or 8 Ghibli films in theaters now because they seem to keep bringing them out. So if Marnie ever shows up on that list, I'll definitely watch that. The next one, Master of the Craft, is by Abyssal Juggernaut. Log 25 shows towards a specific genre. Isekai, for example, Out of This World.
Does slice of life count? Because yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think we probably all have this
I
one.
think everyone has, yeah. If you've
Yep.
seen almost 700 shows, you're bound to.
Yeah, for sure. Think about how many shonen shows there are, or sci-fi.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a billion sci-fis. Lifestyle badges. Next category. Public power levels. 1-star badge if you make your phone or computer wallpaper anime related. 2-star.
Yes.
This is cute. 2-star badge if you put anime stickers on any of your devices. 3-star badge if you have a tattoo or car wrap or of something anime related. I think I get
What's
the
a
2.
car wrap?
It's like a decal, probably.
It's
Oh,
like
then I have all of
a
these.
full- I'm talking. Well, I guess when I talk about car wrap, it's like the full anime
Oh.
cars you see, where all the sidings and
But it
doors
doesn't matter
have
because
stuff.
my back
but
tattoo is from Ghost in the Shell anyway, so.
there you go.
I get-
3-star badge for Mandi. I'm only a 2-star badge.
All right. Let's see here. Caught them all from Icy Rose. Own 150 plushies or figures. Nah, there's no. I don't have. I actually don't own hardly any anime stuff.
Trying to think.
I definitely do not have this.
If you count little things like this little Totoro, then yeah, absolutely I do. But I don't know if those
I'll
count.
count that.
And
I'm counting it.
my little hijikata with mayonnaise.
I would say anything merch related that isn't
Yeah.
manga.
Yeah,
I would count.
absolutely.
So nice.
If we were talking about
next-
just full figures, then probably not.
Oh no, I'll count it. Next up, from suggested by Crick, is it's only a figurine. Spend triple digits on a figure.
I've definitely never.
Which,
I've never done that. Oh.
She's not going to admit to this, despite showing off ones that she's definitely spent 3 figures on the podcast before.
Sorry, my dryer tried to kill me. That dry. I'm gonna be moving again here in a few months, and I'm so happy because this place is so just awful. Okay, hold on,
You ever spent triple digits on a figure?
spent triple digits.
Yeah. I know I've been tempted with the Oogie figures from Monogatari or the Antarcticice from Land of the Lustrous. Those are both really great figures, but no, I have not yet.
I don't think so. I'm too cost conscious. I don't think so. So I'm guessing I'm gonna guess Mandi got that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one before it.
Can I if you counted anime cells in there, then I could put it down, but not specifically figures. No, unfortunately. No, I don't think so. What was the one before this one? Because obviously my
It was
Oh, no,
only-
150 plushies or figures.
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
Next up, we'll skip around a bit, is the Live Master, also from Icy Rose. Learn, perfect, and perform an anime idol/dance.
Oh, no, I don't.
No dancers here. How about a Karaoke King from Poor Monger? Knowing an OP word for word while not speaking Japanese.
Yes.
Oh, no. And which one might that be?
孤独でも人にじゃないさ
Oh yeah.
生まれてきたことに必ず意味上がる 優しさに満ち溢れてる青い星にありがとう
Oh, look at that vibrato. Oh, oh
I was-
man.
Going to be a meme and do the opening from Tank by Cowboy Bebop, but no, that doesn't count.
Oh my god.
I
those
know the
last ones are
whole
good.
Hunter x Hunter OP.
Mitz, do you know any full OPs?
I mean, honestly,
You
probably
can
like
smile.
20 or 30 of them. I mean,
Okay, well, too
I
bad
mean-
because you're disqualified because you speak Japanese, so you don't get the
oh
award.
shit.
I'm kidding. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
I mean, like, what about? I mean, just think about like the Dragon Ball theme. You know, I don't know, a ton of these. Yeah, I mean, I think I have every pop song from Full Moon Osagashi Day memorized.
Very nice.
For
Very nice.
example, I mean, it's yeah. All right, what's next?
Next one is Nihongo Tensai, aka Japanese Genius. You get a 1-star badge if you know the difference between kawaii and kawaii,
Yes.
yuri and yaoi,
Yes.
and ahegao and ahoge.
Yes.
There you go. And you
That
get
was
to
the
pass
easiest
JLPT.
badge yet.
Some,
Oh,
people,
oh, no.
some people miss them.
Ooh, I get the second one too. I've passed N4.
I have
There you
that.
go. So a 1-star badge is just as good as a 2-star badge. But next one is by Mochi Mochi. It's convert your significant other into an anime addict or watch stuff with your family.
The second part, yes.
Yeah.
I converted my sister into a weeb.
There you go. It's
Yeah.
a
She's not
dangerous
my
badge.
significant other, so family, yes.
It's your family. It's your family. Definitely counts.
Yeah, my mother. You know, she married. I watched the entire 26 episodes of Chobits in one sitting with my mother, so that was pretty funny.
Aw.
Back in the
What a
day.
trooper.
Back in the day when I was at home. So, okay.
Next up is Benchwarmer, also suggested by Poor Monger. Having watched more than 5 sports anime while never having played those sports.
Oh.
Yes. Absolutely.
Never played them at all, or just never played them like legit played them like on a team.
Ever.
I would say with enough competitiveness to count in your mind. So like, I've never done like boxing from like Hajime no Ippo, but I've like played enough basketball to count like slam dunk.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. I'm gonna say yes because there's.
Keijo doesn't count for this, for the record. Keijo, you can't play that. So
Keijo's not a sport.
exactly.
Well, so there's like
Calling back that old
like-
argument.
There's ping pong, like the non-mainstream sports are like ping pong, of course. I've never really played baseball much, so I don't really know if I can count baseball. I really don't think I can.
Whatever your heart tells you. Whatever your
Yeah.
heart tells you.
Probably like the badminton show, no volleyball. Never really played. Maybe like in a gym class, which I hardly think counts. And then I've never done like competitive swimming, so I mean this is really not that hard of one to
Ooh.
get, I think.
We have a Keijo master in our chat.
Oh, we do. Keijo is
Yeah.
a work of art. Into integer
If you let-
0.
Let me know real world. Sign me up and I'll see you there.
Those asses are works of
only-
art.
The only sport that I ever played was softball. So everything else, yeah.
So you
I've
definitely
never
get
played
the
'em.
point. Get the points. Next up is the Machio, suggested by our very own Caroline. Went on a health kick after watching a sports anime.
Yeah, I mean, Hajime no Ippo was a big motivator for me when I was doing like my multiple P90X rounds, but it wasn't really the reason why I started like lifting. So I don't think I can count that. So I don't. I'm gonna have to say no.
Would
probably.
you say it gave you inspiration though? Like if it gave you an extra push?
If I was like
I've always do it, but it's definitely motivated.
if I had finished a P90X workout, which are already pretty tiring, and then I just had limitless energy, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna run like 3 miles. If I'm like getting ready to puke in the grass and like Hajime no Ippo music comes on, I always said to myself, you're not allowed to quit running, even if it's Eternal Loop, which is like 11 minutes. You cannot rest while Hajime no Ippo is playing. That's about as far as I go, but I've never puked in the grass, but I sure have felt like I wanted to. But so I just don't think I qualify for this one.
Okay, I've
A
probably
health?
argued myself to the point.
Kick? I don't know what a health kick is.
Like
I
eating
like
healthy.
after we watched. Oh yeah, while we were watching dumbbell show. I started working out more, but then I ended up in the hospital, so I couldn't do it anymore.
no.
No, oh,
And
wow.
I fell off of it. That was when I had my
watched-
gallstones.
Man. Andy's like, I watched Dumb was the badge, but you know what? It counts. Similar vein was Gym Otaku from Azulet, who said, watch an entire series
Oh, yeah.
in the gym while working out on a treadmill or bike, which I've
At
definitely
once?
done.
At once? In one
Well,
sitting?
no, just like over the course of multiple.
Oh, then yes, absolutely.
things.
Oh yeah.
You only consumed it like while you're on the bike. Like I watched all of Princess
Yes.
Tutu and like Golden Kamui on a bike, so definitely done.
Yep.
Let's see. Keep
That
on
one's
going.
easy.
Let's go with Burning the Candle by series at night and stayed up until morning to finish it, which I have never done.
I don't think so.
Mason was cutting out really bad. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
to repeat that, it was Burning the Candle. Started a series at night and stayed up until morning to finish it. I absolutely have done this. I watched all of Vampire Night in one night. I remember that. It was crazy.
I'm gonna say yes because back when
How many episodes is that?
I think it was 24, I think. I started at like, what was it, like 7, and then I just kept watching.
I'm gonna say yes because back in college, you know, like you're sitting around at home and you have nothing to do the next day, and it's like staying up all night until the sun comes up was not an uncommon thing. And usually it was video games, but I can't imagine that it never happened with anime. So I would be willing to bet that probably more than one time this happened. So, where do you want to jump from here?
Sleep, man.
I kind of want to jump.
I
kind of want to jump down to the degenerate badges. Those sound very appealing.
Sure, I just want to hit one more here, which is the Get Off My Lawn badge from Stormcrow, which is watch anime on VHS or Betamax,
Oh,
which
fuck
I
yeah.
would not have done unless I visited my good friend Chibi Rob, who enlightened me on the Icer series on what I believe was a VHS. He can correct me if I'm wrong and take my point away, but I think I've done it. I've done it.
I used to record every episode of Pokemon and Cardcaptors on VHS, and then my mom taped over them with her soap opera.
No.
I think I've told that story before. Because it was always on while I was at school. So I'd always set it to record, and she taped over them. I was like, oh man. But and Ghost in the Shell. I think I also watched X on the movie on VHS.
I think I have like over 100 Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes, where you line them up and they they make like a collage, or they make like
just like the manga.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Chibi corrected me in the chat. It's actually on DVD, but I do have, because Mandi reminded me, up some Pokemon movies and episodes on VHS. So I have that. So I'm still in the game, baby. But now we can jump to our degenerate badges.
Yeah, like good
Very
shit.
fun. So first up also comes from Stormcrow, which is the Did We Just Become Best Friends badge, which is find out that an acquaintance also likes hentai.
Yep. You want to do karate in the garage?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, people. I just
Do
don't
people
know.
you meet through the Discord count? I don't know.
I think that counts as an acquaintance, doesn't it?
I'm not going to allow it.
In real life, I don't.
I mean,
No, yes, I have. I know. I'm not going to say their name, but yes, I do.
I'm gonna say yes because it's pretty obvious that Enzo likes hentai. So I think we probably all get this.
Oh, I'm going to say I don't get it because I don't like hentai. So I can't find someone who also likes it. So no badge.
I know somebody that I went to high school with. I
There
remember
you
now.
go. You guys both get the point then. Next is the Ara Ara Award from Grizzly Jaguar for watching a hentai for its plot.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no fucking way I got this. There's no way I got this one.
What was it? The something no shaga. It was that hentai was really good. And also, People Black is really good, guys.
No,
Next up is The Big Cheese, aka The Man of Culture by Icy Rose, which is to seriously recommend a hentai. I'm sure you guys have all gotten this.
Yeah.
Recommending a hentai to a normal person or as like an anime, or
I think seriously recommending someone.
does
It might not.
do games count?
Yeah,
God damn
I'll give it to you.
His
Nightmare of
washing
Eric.
machine.
My
Yeah.
internet, his washing machine.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare.
That's okay. That's what we get for doing these.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to think. Does prison school count? It's not hentai, but I pimp that all the time.
Sure,
Like, guys,
sure.
you should watch Prison School.
And
No, but there are definitely some other ones. I think I just did a minute ago.
And the last award is the Anime Merit Badge suggested by Hiro Yu, who did the anime arguments, which is submit a merit badge idea for this very topic.
Oh.
And if you thought this was kind of fun and want us to see us do this in the future, feel free to submit them on the Discord or Twitter or just wherever you want. And like, I want people to draw like fan art of some of these badges. I think that'd be super funny to see what you guys could come up with for some of these. And I don't know. Thank you guys so much for the responses. I had fun with it at least.
If you do fan art of them, please do one of Gary Oak showing them all off, and he has way too many of them. That's exactly what I want.
If you're curious how many we had, like I think I lost count there because I kept having to go to my washer dryer. They kept slamming around. But Mandi and Mason were both like in the 30-ish range, and I was down like in the low 20s. So, yeah. So,
and let us know how many you got, dear listener, so we can
talk about it on the Discord.
We can know our audience even better. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, I counted 31 from the ones that I recorded. But yeah, now we're going to go on break. And for our in-show trivia question, which we will answer after the break, the question is, what calendar month of the year is represented by Bam's weapon from Tower of God? And what color is it? Stick around and we'll answer it very shortly.
Softball question. Hey everybody, Mitsuki is back one more time, bringing you another round of anime news. We're starting off with a good one here. You'll recall the story we had some time ago about a prefecture in Japan, the Kagawa Prefecture, that had instituted a law to limiting the amount of screen time that children under a certain age could have. That's video games, tablets, whatever, seeking to break a chain of addiction on video games. However, this was subsequently removed as the courts deemed it, quote, unconstitutional and violating fundamental human rights. So it looks like the Sun, Wataru, has launched a crowdfunding campaign on Campfire to raise around $50,000 to sue the heck out of the prefecture. That's what he's doing. And if you go to the Campfire page, he has already received 110% of his goal with a whopping 47 days remaining, which is pretty shocking. And got to hand it to the 17-year-old Wataru, who's just had enough, and he is just going to take it straight to the government, the local government of Japan. So, going to be pretty interesting to see how that one pans out. And I'm not really sure what he is, quote, suing for, but we will have to find out later on when there's more news about this lawsuit. Next up, Funimation is expanding its streaming services into Mexico and Brazil. Pretty big deal considering you're talking about, hundreds of millions of people that now have access to Funimation. So they announced it during their Funimation Con 2020 online live event. Pretty big deal considering now that it is now available in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, and content is also available in Australia, New Zealand, through Anime Lab, and of course now massive countries of Mexico and Brazil will be able to enjoy properties that belong to Funimation as well. And next up, the manga Make-You Black Company is getting an anime adaptation. So this was announced recently, and it looks like the synopsis: Kinji, who lacks any kind of work ethic, is a layabout in his modern life. One day he finds himself teleported to another world. Sounds like an isekai. But not in a grand fantasy of a hero welcomed with open arms. He's immediately shoved into a terrible job. Enslaved by the evil mining company in a fantasy world, Kinji's about to really learn the meaning of hard work. So maybe a isekai with a little bit of a darker sort of bent to it. So if you're a fan of isekai and you think that sounds interesting, look out for the manga adaptation of Make-You Black Company, which is getting a TV anime adaptation. There is no date, but I can only imagine, like most things right now, it'll be coming out next year. And lastly, Retro Crush, the retro service that you can get for free on a number of platforms, including on your Roku device, which I have done, is adding 10 new titles to its service. So if these sound interesting, go get them. 1 Million Year Trip, Vanderbook, Boggy, The Monster of Mighty Nature, Ambassador Magma, Hakuge, Legend of Moby Dick, Voltes 5, Shin Getter Robo, you might want to put an asterisk next to that one, Ita Kiss, and then 3 different seasons of Project Eiko. So if you are into retro anime and you want to check out some of that, go to Retro Crush and you'll be able to get their service on a variety of places for free, including iOS, Android, Amazon TV, Roku, Apple TV, Smart TVs, etc. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, of course, we're going to get back to the podcast. Anime Addicts, the AAA podcast, is always trying to bring you new and exciting ways to enjoy our content, and now we have an exclusive member-only RSS feed on the site that is going to let you access our hentai episodes, our Hobby Addicts, and our After Parties episodes, all from your favorite mobile apps. That's an additional 8 episodes of content per month just for you, and you can listen to it through Apple Podcasts app, you can listen to it through Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, Overcast FM, Downcast FM, etc., onward and onward. So many mobile apps for you to choose from. If you were holding back on supporting the podcast because you didn't like listening to our extra content through our website, now you can get it and listen to it the same way you enjoy all your other podcasts. So pitch in, help out the podcast, do a good thing, and enjoy all the extra content we have for you. Just go to aaapodcast.com/join, and you will get all this extra content and an exclusive member RSS feed for you to enjoy. That's aaapodcast.com/join, and support the podcast.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。
Welcome back. So hard. It's just so hard to come back because it's just so good. All right. Well, when we left you guys, we had a trivia question for you, an easy one. What calendar month of the year is represented by Bam's weapon, and what color is it? And if you watch the anime of Tower of God, you know the answer, of course, and the answer is the Black March would be the color combination. Oh, and wait. Oh, the synth. This is why we have 2.5-hour episodes. Okay,
Maybe.
guys.
Also after the break, I ran down and picked up my edition of Pokemon Seaside Pikachu on VHS. And if anything was a big 2020 mood, look at our poor Team Rocket boys. That's what 2020 feels like right there. But Seaside Pikachu.
They're pulling
Classic.
a Geralt. Except more clothes.
Yeah, well, nobody wants a clothed Geralt. Give me a break.
I know.
All right, well, let's get to our 5-star review here.
It's time for iTunes review.
If you want to leave us a 5-star review, you can do it on iTunes. I want to give a special thanks to everybody who kind of stepped up to the plate in the last week. I had said that we got review bombed on iTunes, and we are now solidly back at 5 stars on iTunes. So I do thank everybody, but we are awfully close to 700 reviews on iTunes, which is quite a lot for an anime podcast. So if you want to help us get to 700, that would be, I never thought we'd get to 500. Now we're more or less at 700, and it's just a lot. So I can't wait till we have 1,000. I want to see that 1K on iTunes. It's gonna be great. So head over to iTunes. You don't even have to write a review, really. You can just click the 5-star rater. Of course, if you do write a review, we'll read it on the show, just like maybe Moral did, who wrote, If Mason has millions of fans, I am one of them. If Mason has 10 fans, I am one of them. If Mason has only one fan, and that is me. If Mason has no fans, then that means I am no more of this earth. If the world is against Mason, I am against the world. Mason's biggest fan. Wow.
Oh, man.
And such a smile from Mason on the Twitch.
I know.
Wow.
I'm blushing over here. That was very nice.
And I'm pretty sure Moral watches on Twitch, so wow.
Thank you, my dude. Thank you. There are dozens of us, shouts the GIF.
There are tens of us. Okay.
Exactly. Much
All right.
appreciated, my guy. Thank you so much.
And thanks again to everybody who wrote those 5-star reviews this last week. We had quite a number of them. And now let's hop to our mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
There you go. Extreme movement in my lack of dancing ability. First comes up from Yotaru Vegeta. Congrats on making it another week. This is more of a question for the other host, but if Mitz wants to take the trip too, so be it. If you could become part of any era of the AAA podcast history, what would it be? Mitch is like, get me out of here.
Yeah,
this
doesn't apply to him. He's been here since day one, so he can't even answer.
Oh,
So so many podcasts.
I said the era where I can go back to the Hunter x Hunter review and tell him 4 is enough.
Fair enough. 4 is not
It's
enough.
your fault. I'm just kidding.
When did they review that?
I have no idea.
Oh.
A long
had-
time ago.
In like one of the very beginning.
No, I don't think so because Hunter x Hunter came,
Started in 2011 and it finished in.
but it ran forever.
It took 3 years, maybe.
I'm not sure how far back the wonderful document that Icy Rose manages goes
Not that
back.
far.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but
I think it was on there as a solo review. He has it on there, but I don't remember the year. I didn't look.
oh no, it's my fault. Oh shit.
It's your fault.
I probably did that because it
No,
doesn't.
you gave it a 4, which is fine.
I probably did. I probably said that because it has no ending.
Probably. It's fair.
Very fair point.
I can't
There are
remember.
also some things about the podcast that I wish I could change, and I'd be like, if I could go back in time, I'd say that's not a good idea.
I think I did the same thing with Space Brothers. Like Space Brothers to me is like fucking amazing, like beyond what most anime ever get to in terms of how good it is. But it has no ending, so I think I only gave it a 4.5. But
It also doesn't have a Killua.
it doesn't. It has a Muta.
True.
It has an Oppo.
It does. Tower of God has a Killua. So
It does.
How about you, Mason?
I'd say this era because this is the best time to be an anime fan.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, like, no era on this podcast before had like interaction with the fans in the same way that we do nowadays. Like, we didn't have Discord back then. We had like the website like message boards, but it wasn't the same. So being connected with you guys is like such a rewarding part of it that I'd be bummed if I missed out on that.
The
That'd
Discord
be
is
super
great.
cool to be on some Cram era podcast and just he would absolutely destroy me in like his swagger and like articulateness and he's a champ, so that'd be a bunch of fun.
Cram destroyed all of us, to be fair.
It's too good. He's too good for us.
T. Willie said, I watched the Hunter x Hunter review. It was a solo review with Kazuo. Mitz was the only one that watched it and pretty much explained everything to Kazuo.
Wow.
That sounds very accurate. I think that applies to all of the shows.
Putting the team on his back.
Yeah, so the next one is from Callum. And they say, hey guys, this is a question in relation to the 5-star anime reviews. For the life of me, please can you explain how we can give you a 5... Oh, anime reviews. I was thinking like how we review anime, but I think they mean for podcast reviews. It says, you see, iTunes doesn't really exist anymore on the iTunes app on iPhone. It redirects to the Apple Podcast app. I've already given you a review on the podcast app, but it doesn't show up on the iTunes. And I don't think you guys can see it either. On Mac, iTunes, again, doesn't exist anymore as it's been replaced by music on iTunes.com. Am I missing something? I don't know. It definitely was not, created by Mitsuki. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Go
can
ahead.
do it. That's
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Apple Podcast app is fine. It comes preloaded on every Apple phone, probably on every Apple device, really. And it's the same. I can't say this for certainty, but I'm sure it's the same network as what iTunes would be. So I think that if you go to like the podcast and you scroll down to the bottom of the screen on the app, it'll have the section where you leave reviews. I had this open just a second ago. I mean, I'll just do it right here and just take a look. So you go to the app, you search for our podcast, you scroll all the way to the bottom, and it has a section for ratings and reviews, and that's where you do it. And you can also write a review. It's like almost the bottom thing on the page. But I still have iTunes on my laptop here. I open it up every once in a while, and you can also continue to update it. So maybe that's just on Windows, but it definitely exists still. So if you left a review on the app, then we will see it. That's about it. Do you have anything to add, Mason?
I put a link in the show notes, but it definitely can be done through the iTunes on like Windows and stuff like that. But look it up. There is a way. I believe in you.
I'm just gonna copy paste this link and put it in Twitch because you know what? If you guys want to leave us a review, I wouldn't hate you for it. All right. Well, thanks for leaving the mailbags, guys. We appreciate the mailbags. Oh, always. So it's a lot of fun, and we like to hear from you. This is a podcast that definitely leans on its listeners a lot for content. We want you to be as involved as possible, and we want to keep it that way. So, all right, the moment has come. The Tower of God review, Kami no To, which I finished last night. Guys, you can watch this. You can watch Tower of God on Crunchyroll or Verve. I watched it on Verve, so I actually don't even have the Crunchyroll app anymore. So this was the listener choice anime, and I failed this back on episode 520. I tried to get rid of it, but it overwhelmingly, maybe more than ever before, won the listener choice poll. Had like 60% of the vote or something, just outrageous. So that's a shitload of a percentage for something that's getting more than 200 people voting. So I mean, that's pretty. When there's a poll that has like 40 choices and out of 200 people, 60% of you pick the same thing. That's pretty. So that says a couple of things. So, So how to even give a synopsis of Tower of God? I'm gonna pull it up here on my anime list. This is an anime that I don't think is all that plot heavy, at least in the anime. I know that there's a lot to the manga or to the manhwa or the webcomic or. So is it a webcomic? It's a manhwa, right? Yeah, manhwa.
It's a manhwa. Yeah.
It's a manhwa.
Yep,
So
it's technically like an online.
Here's some synopsis here. There's a tower that summons chosen people called regulars, with the promise of granting them their deepest desires, and it can pretty much be whatever they want. And there is a 25th Bam is a boy who only knew like the inside of this dark cave they showed at the beginning of the anime. He lives in there. He's all dirty. He's got dirty clothes. And there's a girl named Rachel who is in there with him. And one day she decides that she wants to climb the tower. And I think she says because she wants to see the stars or she wants to become a star. And so after she leaves, he's basically in love with her. So after she leaves, he decides that he wants to find her, and because it just destroys his world because she leaves. And so he vows to follow her to no matter what it takes. And so he sets off to climb the tower as well. The difference is that the tower generally chooses people, and it isn't like the people choose the tower chooses the people. Bam is different because he chose to climb the tower of his own free will, so he is known as an irregular, which comes up at some point in the show. So, and then it's basically just like, I don't know, very shonen, sort of. They're just climbing the tower, and it's almost like Hunter x Hunter in the beginning when they have like these like outrageous tests they go through, and then, every time they have a test, X percentage of the people drop off because they can't pass it. And
they get eaten by turtle monsters.
They get eaten. They get, whatever it is.
On this Hunter x Hunter, they do.
I think that was probably an adequate synopsis. I mean, it's done by Telecom Animation Studio, who has been around for a while now. They're, according to Mal, their most watched anime is Orange, which a lot of people have seen, I'm sure. Chain Chronicle, another one. They did the rugby anime All Out, Moyashimon. So they've definitely been around for a while. They don't do a lot of anime. They've been around for at least 13 years because Moyashimon is from 2007. They still have only done 39 shows, so that's like maybe like, I don't know, 2 a year, 3 a year maybe. So I guess it's fairly prevalent. Let's see. The director is Takashi Sano, who has, let's see if he has done any other directing work. Not a whole lot here. Been around, done a lot. I've been involved in a lot of stuff, but as far as directing, Sengoku Bastora, Judge End, and some Transformers stuff is pretty much it. Now, that being said, I think we all had some expectations going into this one. So I'll start with Mason. Mason, what were your expectations going into Tower of God?
I obviously heard the murmur around it. I knew it's kind of like the first real big major manhwa to be adapted into an anime, so I knew there was a lot of hype behind it, behind the source material. I kind of went out of my way to avoid looking up the manhwa or kind of any of the news or reviews around it. I think I like accidentally watched a couple minutes of it, like when I was just going through the seasonal stuff, and I was like, no.
How do you accidentally watch a couple
I was
minutes?
I was just clicking on random shows, and I didn't even register like because it showed up as Kami no To instead of Tower of God. So I'm just like, another show, and I watched a little bit of it, and I was like, I'm not kind of feeling it. I'll just put on the back burner, and then obviously Borner. You know, it's that Boston accent that I'm not even from, and yeah. So then obviously people were talking about the pros, the cons, a lot of debate, and I just kind of stepped back and was like, know what, this is going to be the listener's choice. I'm going to stay out of it until we have to review it. So I went in knowing about it, but pretty blind to everything contained within.
Mandy, how about you?
I knew that this was a very popular manhwa. I've always heard so much about it. I know people from some manga podcasts that I listen to who absolutely love the manhwa. They throw a lot of praise on it. I've heard some comparisons like this is like good for Hunter x Hunter fans, but I went into this completely blind. I didn't know anything like about the story or anything like that. I just went into it with an optimistic view just to see what happened. Not any real true expectations, except I was excited that Crunchyroll is starting to adapt manhwa into anime. That was it.
For me, I mean, I'd already seen a pretty good chunk of this, you know, because I did the impression of it. So, I mean, it would be kind of foolish for me to say I didn't know anything about it. I did for once. I don't normally. And I mean, obviously I failed this for a reason. That's right. So this is going to be me, grumpy man. You know, I failed it for a reason. We'll get into that, but I didn't have very high expectations because I had already kind of cast it out once, you know, so it's not that often that a failed show comes back. So maybe it has happened like a few times. But you know, it's fine. People didn't agree with my judgment, and I respect that. And we're here to cover it because you wanted us to. But yeah, my expectations were pretty low because I'd already seen a good chunk of it. Now, Mason, that said, would you recommend the show now that you've seen it?
So when you look at like the popularity rankings of the spring season, you have Kaguya Season 2 and Tower of God, and there's a large bridge between the third most popular show. So as a method of, this is one of the most popular shows from the season, and to be a part of the conversation and like to witness one of the first show bridges the gap between manhwa and anime, like you could do a lot worse. Like it's kind of an inoffensive show. I think it's kind of just a generic, you know, you're going up, there's constantly changing challenges for people to keep interested in. It's kind of like an endless tournament arc, and I think just if you want to be informed, it's harmless to check out. But the show by itself, separated from the hype and the popularity, at its best, it's like monumentally ordinary. Like nothing about the show indicates that it is from a manhwa or sourced differently than what we normally get from anime. Like it's just full of the same tropes that we've always seen, and I feel like I've often heard that this webtoon gets a lot better later on. And I honestly believe that, and I could absolutely see it going there. But as it currently stands, I think it's worth waiting to see if we eventually get to the supposed good parts. So I think if you want to be part of the conversation, check it out. But if not, you're really not missing anything.
Mandy?
I don't know. This one's hard to recommend when I haven't read the manhwa, because I've heard so many great things about the manhwa. Even people who are big fans of the manhwa have said the anime skips a whole lot, and that even like the manhwa sets up a good mystery, is from what I have heard from people, but it still gives you enough details to know what's going on, so you don't feel lost. But there are some parts in the anime that felt like they just went by so fast, and there's such a large cast of characters that it was kind of hard for me to keep up with everything that was going on. It's not a difficult show to watch. Like it's felt kind of brainless at times, but I definitely see where people are coming from. Like, this guy definitely is a big fan of Hunter x Hunter. There's a lot of things in there. I was like, I see where you're going with this. I don't know. I think it's okay for like just a brainless shonen romp, because it does feel like it's just straight action the whole way through, except for, you know, some parts here and there. It definitely just feels like a big tournament, and that's it. But yeah, if you're not looking for that kind of show and you want something more, probably don't watch this. I would probably say, like, I haven't read the manhwa, but from what I've heard from people is that you should probably read the manhwa before going into this. So I don't know. I would only recommend it to fans of, like, big fans of shonen, and that's it.
Well, it would be kind of odd for me to well, I guess I can't say that. I failed it once before, and if I was doing an impression after watching all of it, I'd fail it again. I don't think I'd recommend it. I mean, this is just like it plays like shonen. It's mostly fighting and action, and about 200 anime have done it better. I know that the manhwa is really long. You know, I had a guy on Twitter tell me that it would be impossible to adapt it because it would be like a million episodes. We got like barely any episodes here. I'm not really willing to sit around for the next 12 years, you know, getting installments of it. And honestly, if you just want to watch people fight, like, I mean, there's a gajillion anime you could watch. I mean, Hunter x Hunter would be a great one. Like, I mean, as Mandi already said, there's a lot of similarities. I think they're obvious. This anime, honestly, it doesn't look very good. I don't know if it's intentional or not. I'm guessing maybe, but that doesn't change the fact that it doesn't look good. Some of the characters in this look downright comically badly drawn. Like, it's like the one, especially the guy that looks like a rabbit. You know, he pops up at the end. He pops up in the beginning. Like, he looks like something that was drawn by like someone who like just has no experience drawing artwork. The action is okay at times. But like, honestly, it's really difficult to watch a show that's nothing but fighting when you don't know or care anything about the characters in it. Like, until you get deep into it, you don't even know anything about the main characters. So I really struggle to give for lack of a better word, give a damn about like the outcome of a fight between two characters that aren't the main characters when I don't know anything about them. I have no stake in their outcomes. Like, who cares? It's like watching a sporting event. It's like watching a sporting event between two teams that you don't care about and they have no implication on like your favorite team's like playoff ranking or anything. It's just like a throwaway like preseason game. Like, nobody cares, and that's a real big problem. And I'm guessing the manhwa does a better job of that. So like when the princesses of Jihad or whatever are fighting and they're like, oh, I have this thing and I have to, like, I don't care because you didn't explain it and I don't know anything about it. So this is the same thing I said for the impression. And is it god awful? No, it's not god awful, but like, you know, usually when we pass or fail things, we try to pass the stuff that's like obviously better than, you know, average. And I'd say this is a pretty average show, a lot like what Mason said. So yeah, I just don't think it's really tough to recommend a shonen show like this when there's so much other shonen out there. So anyway, well, with that solemn note, let's go to the spoilers.
You should all watch Hunter x Hunter.
Basically, yeah.
You guys want to review Hunter x Hunter?
Oh, Mandi wants to re-review it.
I'll give it more than a 4.
Mandi will give it a 6.
Spoilers are coming.
Oh my god!
Oh my god. Where do we begin with this? There's not. I feel
wherever you want.
Well, I feel like there's not a lot to spoil in this anime. So it plays like different, you can almost break it into arcs, small arcs of the different tests they go through.
The hunter exams.
Exactly.
I mean, speaking of spoilers, just like the newer seasons of My Hero Academia, it spoils it at the very beginning, where it's like, this is the story about a girl who climbed up the tower and the boy who followed her. I guess they're going to do that.
That's the whole story, you know? And
another kid who is abandoned by their caretaker, and that caretaker put in obstacles that were definitely going to kill them.
I mean, if we want to talk characters, I feel like at first I liked that it felt like Bam wasn't like some chosen prodigy. It felt like everyone goes through these challenges. Hundreds of people are competing in this tower race. They're doing this daily. Like, this is a regular occurrence. And I was like, oh, this guy is not like some mystical shaman who is the chosen one who's gifted with unbelievable power to change. Like, it didn't seem typical in that regard until 8 episodes in. LOL, we lied. He actually is the chosen one with mystical powers. And it just... I feel like the problem with the show is they tried so hard to keep every character mysterious that, like Mitt said, you ended up not caring about them. And like the best characters, like Rock and Shibisu, were just suffered from having a personality, and it made them come off as like cartoonish. And I loved those two. Those were the best characters.
I loved Rock. Rock was the best character.
But they came off so over the top because everyone else was just so mellow and flat and bland that... Like, even Lore, who's like Sleeping Bag Coon, he was fine.
My favorite character. You know I love my sleepy voice.
I just wanted to see more of Princess Yuri, the person who looked like Kakegurui matched up with like Jitoge from Nisekoi with like that bow that looked like bunny ears. She was great. And then everyone else that replaced her was just kind of meh. And I just, like Mitt said, I didn't care about the people.
So I failed this anime because... there's no setup at all. Like in Hunter x Hunter, they do go into like this long Hunter exam, and it is long. It's longer than Tower of God, this first season. But they spend like 5 or 6 episodes with Gon, and then he meets Leorio and Kurapika on the boat, you know, and then they meet Killua, and then everybody has a really compelling reason.
And then you meet Hisoka, and everything went downhill.
Yeah, then it goes to hell. Everybody has a really compelling reason to be there. And because just frankly, the Hunter x Hunter characters are very likable. But because they're likable and there's a very deliberately spent amount of time talking about why they're there, and you have some skin in the game as a viewer, it helps you along, right, when with the outcomes. And this anime... like, I still don't even know why Bam wants to climb the damn tower. It's just for Rachel. And then, like, Rachel's reason for climbing the tower is, like, it's hardly a reason.
She wants to see the stars.
It's really...
that don't even exist, question mark?
It's really...
We don't know.
and then the other people, there's, like, 400 other people, and they don't have any reason, really, for climbing the tower. And I don't even know what the tower is. And I don't know where it is. And I don't know how many floors there are. And I don't know, that doesn't even look like a tower because there's like grassy fields and shit. And I don't understand anything about anything. And it's like, Fate Zero always seems pretentious to me because they always have like an hour-long episode 0 when I don't think Fate Zero needs it because Fate isn't that complicated. This anime really needed an episode 0 badly. Like, it needed to have like a history lesson on the tower and what the hell the deal is and why I give a damn. You know, but they don't do that. And so I don't get it. So I never really cared. And I still don't. And I watched the whole season and I still felt like I didn't care. And that's the big problem that I have is that it just doesn't give you a reason to care about the outcome. And I think, you know what I mean?
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just going to
I think when I first started it, I was kind of into it because it did give me that Hunter x Hunter vibe. But like the Hunter exams, and there was enough mystery there, and I'm pretty patient with mysteries. I'm like, ooh, I'm curious, and as long as I get an answer, I don't mind waiting for it. Like, I thought it was interesting enough. I was like, ooh, this tower seems like kind of a cool thing, and I wanted to see what happens with all these different characters. But I think as I went on, I started to lose me towards from the halfway point to the end. Because I just did not like Bam at all. And I think it's just because
he's dry.
Like, people say Gon is like annoying and bland. No, guys, Gon's great. This guy is annoying and bland.
He's very
Bam, more like bland. Am I right, fellow gamer?
More like blam.
blam.
Blam. Wow. I'm just kidding.
Blam.
No, I just could not get. I don't know. I just didn't care for Bam at all. And I think what really got me is that I know there are a lot of fans of the manga. It's very popular, so a lot of people are reading it. And a lot of the dialogue online were like, "Oh, we can't wait to see how horrible Rachel is in the anime. Rachel is just awful." And I was expecting a really awful, horrendous person who like murders babies or something. But when I met Rachel, I was like, Rachel is actually more interesting to me than Bam is. Bam, I don't know. I just could not. I know he's like supposed to be this very sweet, kind boy who is, also very naive, but I don't know. There's just his motivations for doing this were so flimsy to me that I could not care enough about Bam's journey through this tower.
It's one of those shows where you don't like Rachel, but you need her to be there to make something compelling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the ending kind of maybe had a bit of a kickstart. And like they said in the final episode, Bam is climbing the tower for answers, just like you, the reader or watcher, is watching the show to get the answers that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, how long are you willing to wait? I could not get into Kuhn's bandana. That I couldn't tell if it was a earring. It was just like the flattest, stiffest piece of cardboard. It was so distracting.
Kuhn is cute though. He's like the mix between Killua and Leonio.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna.
It really sucks to be Bam because his whole reason for climbing the tower was Rachel, and she's just a bitch. I mean, she just is. She's just terrible. And how bad it must feel to like wake up at the end after guys, massive spoilers, after she pushes him off the thing and he wakes up and he's like, wow, I was climbing this tower for her, but she's like awful, just awful, and then what do you do? I mean, my whole motivation would be like just to like, slap her in the face.
Go home.
Yeah, or just go home, Bam. Bam, take your ball and go home, bro, because
Yeah.
I mean, is seeing the stars really enough of a reason to like almost die over and over again? I just don't think so. Maybe really his motivation should have been, this cave I'm in sucks ass, and it's really a lot better to be like anywhere else, even if I'm fighting for my life, than being this like dirt hole. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I would see it, but I don't know.
But it's okay because all the characters are like, Bam, you're so cute. You're just my type. Oh, you're so handsome. Oh, I'll do anything for you. So good thing the show let us know that repeatedly for seemingly no reason.
To me, the most interesting character in this show, and I got to look up all their names because there's like 1,200 characters in this, and Anak Jihad was
cool.
Was the best character in this because guess what? Wow, oh my God, 3 minutes of backstory. Like, and it's like she was this chip on the shoulder, tough girl who, like, she had a reason to be there, and they gave a whopping 3 minutes to it, and it really helped her character. And I liked her, and I liked the other princess girl.
I like Endorsi a lot.
Endorsi, yeah.
She was stylish. She was a slave to food, and I thought it was weird that she kept on breaking her heels during fights. I was like, just change out your heels. And I'm guessing that was a reference to the way the princesses are described as being a pair of shoes for the king, and like her shoes are constantly what's failing her. I can't vouch for that one way or another. It just was getting annoying, but I did like her. I liked Endorsi. I liked all the princesses a lot.
Yeah, I thought they were cool too. And they had like a really good reason for being there. I think, look, I know we're not into the listener scores yet, but one person wrote, maybe at the top of this tower is another season of Hunter x Hunter, and I was like, that's a good reason to climb the tower.
Yeah, nailed it.
It was the funniest thing. I was laughing at it.
That is funny.
Yeah, if we get to the top and Higashi's like, here's more Hunter x Hunter, look, I'm in. I'll watch this whole damn show.
Gotta climb the tower. I feel like we keep on bringing up Hunter x Hunter, but the difference is...
No, I do. I'm sorry.
Hunter x Hunter, there are fights and there are motivations and there's like a bit of cleverness to it, and the characters' actions make sense. And this show is very much a show where it's written to be clever and smart and witty, and you're like, the test was actually testing this. Wow, so intellectual. but it's really not. It's one of those shows where you take a step back and think about what went down. You're like, this is not well thought out. It seemed kind of random and pointless, and has nowhere near the depth that Hunter x Hunter has.
Yeah,
and
Hunter x Hunter's
they're
great.
just trying so hard to be clever and smart. And I was so frustrated with the way that like the tests weren't testing what they were supposed to. And heck, they should have been DQ'd in the second test when they're like, if you fight further than the minute or further at this point, you're failed. And they continue to fight, they're not DQ'd. Immersion
The clock
broken.
one was really weird, where they're all like debating what the test could possibly be. That was really weird.
That one-
He's like,
yeah.
actually, they're all correct answers. I was like,
But why? Why? That no. Or like when they're fighting with the multiple crowns, and he makes duplicates of crowns, and it's like, psych, they're duplicates. I told you my plan. Or why did they go in the third round? Why did he activate his help on the fourth round instead of the fifth round when he says all the strongest people will be on the fifth round? Like there were so many moments where I was just like, no, like. You can come up with clever reasons why they did what they did, but it didn't, and it just made it that much more frustrating.
Can we talk about the ending real quick, speaking of the story? Because I watched the ending last night and was really hoping for something. And unless I'm mistaken, because it was midnight and I was half asleep I got through it without falling asleep, but is it just me or was the last episode a recap? And I was like, really? This is what we get at the end?
I didn't mind it. It was kind of like the second episode of Death Parade, where you get the same events but from that different perspective.
yeah. Mhm.
So if you're kind of in a daze, you're like, I've seen this all before, but it kind of gives us the Rachel arc, which I probably was my favorite episode of the bunch.
Agreed. Yeah, I thought Rachel was far more interesting than the main character.
But I mean, like, the show has almost no story, so it's like you're explaining something that's unbelievably simple again. You know, I just don't know. I mean, I guess maybe they didn't need to spend 15 minutes out of 23 minutes on that. I don't know. I guess I just wanted something to make me hype for season 2, or some, like, you know, anime sometimes just dump all the plot on you at the end. Something like that. But, like, I get it. Like, you wanted to climb the tower and you're selfish. But did you really need to take up the whole episode? I don't know. If you guys feel differently, that's fine. I was just curious. Do you want to talk about, like, the art, maybe?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I thought overall, I was fine with the art. I think
Same.
the main characters especially had like a scratchy, almost Aka look to their design, and the MCs looked good. I think a lot of the background characters in like the opening episodes before they pare everyone down, those didn't look so great. There were some ugly tattoos, some CG birds. It was all forgivable. I did actually go read a couple chapters of the manhwa, and like going from the manhwa to this, I think I'd be really pleased with how it looks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think visually this is a pretty darn good adaptation, and the biggest problems I had is a lot of times things look almost pixelated, like they were drawn on a lower resolution. But the biggest thing were the fights were super underwhelming. Like the blood looked good, I'll give it that, and when like the Inferno punch that did nothing, that was funny. The punch that Shibisu gives to like the girl when she's like bleeding all over the place, that was funny. But for the most part, the fights were super floaty. They didn't have much depth, and I was like, I could have imagined these fights better in the manhwa. So I didn't think it looked bad moment to moment, but a lot of the action scenes and speed lines were not my thing.
Yeah, I didn't think it looked that bad to me, because it just looked like a kind of more like just a comic book kind of like it actually coming to life or moving, and I thought that was kind of cool. To me, it was at least kind of refreshing just to see something new. Like I didn't mind it at all, and I definitely would say it doesn't have any kind of impressive choreography or good or amazing fight scenes or anything like that. But overall, I thought the character designs were interesting. They do sometimes do like the Fullmetal Alchemist kind of chibi kind of comedy moments. I'm not a big fan of those in anime in general, but they were fine. Like I thought Rock was pretty funny throughout the whole thing. I thought he was cute. Maybe I just like lizard boys. I don't know. But
I feel for the one animator who is probably just in charge of animating every single chocolate bar. This has to be the highest chocolate bar content count in any anime ever.
Definitely,
brought
for sure.
to you by Hershey's.
Mitch,
No,
what do you think?
I thought it looked fine. Sorry.
I mean, I was generally turned off by the way it looked. I mean, I don't know, like the line art was the thing that got me. It just looks, I don't know, terrible. I thought like there you got characters where like the lines are broken. Like it had to be intentional. It has to be. Like there's no way anybody fucked it up that bad. Like you have a character and like normally there's like a line around the outline of like their character, like their head or face or something, and then it would just be like broken in places for no reason. And I'm like, that looks weird. And then like the character that looked really bad was Head on, the rabbit-looking guy who's the guardian of the tower. He looked like something that like I could draw, and I can't draw, and I'm just not used to it. Anime keeps looking better and better and better as time goes on, and then you have this, and I'm just like, it must be intentionally looking this way. But just because it's intentional doesn't mean I have to like the way it looks. I didn't think it looked all that great. The animation was okay, maybe, but I just didn't like the art style. Like, it just looks really rough. It's almost like they drew it and then never cleaned it up or something. But I'm guessing the manhwa must look worse based on what you guys have said. But so maybe they intentionally did this, but it didn't appeal to me aesthetically at all. I did like the opening.
The opening reminded me a lot of like the Dororo opening by Queen Bee, or like A Man with the Mission thing.
Yeah.
I thought the music was good, and it's cool. It's done by like a Korean boy band.
Yeah.
And they made a Japanese and English version for the show, which I thought was cool, and I thought it sounded good. The problem was, it was like the laziest thing visually. Like, it just cut between shot of Bam and then black screen with credits. Like, there were no transitions. It was just very like they just had half the time, because half of it was just black screen with white credits, and like visually it was super unappealing.
Yeah.
But the music in the show by Kevin Penkin, guy who did Made in Abyss, it was pretty good. Like, it captures like the mournful strings that he kind of had, like it very like sounded like moments from the video game Journey, but like I didn't hear enough of it. Like, the show didn't have enough room to breathe the same way Made in Abyss did, where you could just like get caught up in like the sweeping orchestral stuff. Like, it was very distant, and there was some like cool like hip hop jazz like fight scenes, but for the most part, I don't think I would have been like, I really got a good feel for a lot of different songs.
I thought the music overall was pretty good. I like the OP too. Just not, like the visuals weren't great. I like the song though.
Yeah. Good.
Sorry, what were you gonna say about music, Bits? I
just
almost went into Coon.
I just liked it. I thought that generally the music was one of the better things of the show. I think the opening was intentionally the way it was. Like, I think they were trying to be epic or dramatic about it with like the black screens, and I don't think it was like badly done like that. I think they meant it to be. It was a stylization, I feel like, but I thought the music was one of the stronger things, but I don't think that's necessarily. That's not really where you want to be in an anime. Like, you don't want to be like, the music was good. It's like, oh, how'd you like that show? Well, the music was good. Like, if that's where you are, then you're maybe not in the best spot. But I thought the music was pretty good. Yeah, I don't recall any of the in between music, but the opening was good, and it reminded me of the opening to. It might have been Promised Neverland. I kept thinking it sounded like, and I think I even checked. It's different people, obviously, but it sounded like it.
Mandi, you were going to talk about Coon?
Coon is chocolate.
I was just going to say,
blue-haired guy.
I was really sad that we didn't get more of Coon, because I thought Coon was going to be a really cool, like, kind of like the, like the kill
with the dark history. Well, we got like the guy who like visited him with like the exact same color hair, and people obviously know his history, so just another mystery that we're going to get. So
yeah, I was just disappointed because I wanted more of him, because I thought he would be interesting as like the kind of, he seems like he'd be an assassin kind of with the way, and just kind of, he's very like intelligent and not manipulative. That's not the word I'm looking for. But he was just very strategic in like that game where they're trying to get like the capture the crown.
The game of tag.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, not tag.
Where they're on the pedestal.
Yeah, the crown game.
Was that your favorite of all the trials?
Oh yeah, the trials. I think that was my favorite, because that's when we first got to see a little bit more of a knock, and I thought she was really cool.
I agree.
How about you, Mitch?
I agree. The game, Crown game was the best. I just want to say that Coon was another great example of like, I feel like they were gonna. I was like, please just go into his backstory Because
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I'm of this certain family, and it's obviously relevant for a reason. But then they don't really, unless I missed it, they don't really go into it. And I was like, oh, another opportunity for an interesting character, but now I don't know anything about you. Other than
Cunning
that,
was the word I was looking for.
Cunning. I get it.
cunning. Yeah, I like him. I liked Kuhn, but yeah, I just didn't know. There's nothing. I know nothing about him, so I don't know. Sad
Honestly,
times.
my favorite trial, as dumb as it was just there are too many of you guys passed. You have to walk through this wall of
Oh, that
water.
was pretty funny too.
It was
Right.
nice because we got like interaction of people's, and it essentially established that to succeed in this, it's all about luck. It's not about skill. It's not about effort. It's just about luck. And I don't know if that's a theme about the willingness of God blessing these people with the ability, but it just made me realize that this show will have no thinking involved. They can justify everything with, if you are lucky, you will survive and win. And that carried forward to, you just pick the door by being lucky. You win the game of this by being lucky. And it just kind of was, I thought it was actually engaging, and just people walking through and pushing through was, I don't know, I enjoyed that a lot more than the Crown game.
All of your luck
yeah.
and your Nen abilities. I mean, your Shinsu.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Crown game was probably my favorite. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. But
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I feel like I'm shitting on it a lot because I love Hunter x Hunter. I'm not. I just have problems. I apologize, guys.
I mean, like Mitz mentioned earlier, like it's a fine show, but because there's so much other shonen that are better than this, like, why would you watch this over those? And with only 13 episodes released, that's a really hard question to answer.
I have nothing else to say really about it, guys. I don't know if you have tidbits you want to wrap up, but I could score it right now.
I think I'm good as well.
I'm good.
I can go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
At the end of the day, the trials in the show were shallow. The characters were shallow. The themes about luck and living your life just for someone else were shallow. And it just felt like a kiddie pool anime. Like everything was just shallow. And I think as the series continues, we might get some depth. But for now, I wouldn't recommend diving into the show at all. I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 brown Trucktobers, because I want to see that sword be a thing.
Trucktobers?
Yeah.
How about you, Mandi?
Me, it wasn't a hard anime to watch. I really liked the beginning of it, but I think it started losing me towards the end. I think part of the reason is because, I mean, I'm only going off of what people have said who have read the manhwa, is that it leaves a whole lot out, and there's more in the manhwa that covers like everybody's motivations and gives them a little bit more depth. And I'm kind of, disappointed that they didn't put that in there. It felt like a very, very small chunk of a mountain is what we got. It just, like Mason said, a lot of what we got just feels shallow. I don't know if it's just the adaptation just leaving things out that was necessary, and maybe they'll add that in later on. Like, I think when the next season comes out, I probably will watch it because it's not hard to watch. It's just, brainless shonen, at least is from what I got, and we might get some cool scenes later on to kind of answer all the mysteries of this tower, and they might be cool. I don't know, but so far I'm kind of like meh on it. I didn't really have any strong emotions over any of the characters or anything that was happening. I actually thought Rachel was kind of interesting, although everybody else hated her. But out of what I watched, I think I'd give it 3 chocolate bars out of 5. It's not amazing, but I also didn't think it was awful.
I pretty much said everything I need to say. I mean, I think that, like I said before, the anime really suffers just from a lack of me not caring about anything because there's no context at all. And I'm not going to sit around for the next 4 years waiting for tiny installments to get the context. Like, give it to me up front, like every other story. And, it's really asking a lot for me to trust you that you're going to be like, oh, this is going to blossom into some really compelling, interesting thing, and I'm going to devote all this time and energy to, like, watching it over and over again, and we're going to, like, keep devoting sections of the podcast to keep covering you. And it's just like, give me something now so that I have faith that something will happen later, and it just doesn't do that. So, like, I could never recommend it because it's like, I have no idea if the show will be interesting or not. And ultimately, it was easy to watch because it's just a fighting thing, but like ultimately it wasn't really all that interesting. So I'm kind of more down there with Mason, and I actually think I like the anime more after the impression than I do now. So I am going to give it... I'm going to give it 2.5. 2.5 times.
Chocolate bars.
No.
Oh.
Mandy. 2.5 times I just want to slap Rachel out of 5 because she's just so not nice to poor Bam, and he just wants to love you.
Bam's all right.
You know what? Hunter x Hunter, they did the show. They took 12 years, and then they made a remake, and the remake is pretty darn good. Maybe that's what this show needs. Maybe
The original was also good.
I'm not comparing them, except I am. I'm just saying maybe this show needs the...
Says the person who never watched it. I'm just kidding.
I've watched enough.
I'm just getting very aggressive for no reason.
No, and deservedly so. I'm just saying maybe it needs that same treatment. So, what did the listeners think?
Yes.
And boy, did they think a lot.
Oh, yeah. So we had a ton of votes, guys. Way more than we usually ever do. I don't think we've ever had... I don't even think Demon Slayer we had as many votes as we got for this, which is insane. But they were also very split on it, which I was expecting. It seems like the whole anime community has been very split down the middle for this series. But the average was a 3.5 out of 5. And yeah, man, a lot of the people that commented wrote like novels for everything they thought about it. They had a lot to say.
Yeah, all these responses are very interesting. I appreciate you guys putting them in there. For people who have the show notes, you get a lot more thoughts on the series from all different opinions. So there's a lot of good stuff here.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps us up. So just so you guys know, I just that anime 9,000 episode merit badge that we just that we had earlier. I just updated my list, and even though it's updated, I only was able to add another 120 episodes, so I'm only up to 8,220, which, you know, I'm at about, I don't even know, it's like 400 anime, and then like 100 OVAs, 100 movies. I don't know. You guys are way ahead of me, but someday I'll get to 9,000, maybe. We'll see.
It's not a contest, Mitz. Don't worry. Just know that I'm winning.
I know. I just feel like I'm behind, you know, and I don't know.
You could watch the original Hunter x Hunter.
I just need to watch like the whole thing of Cheese Sweet Home, because that's like 140 episodes, and it's like 3 minutes a piece. Sazai-san, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can rack them up big time there. Guys, thanks so much for listening. We had a very large audience on Twitch today, but larger than average. I encourage you all to follow us so you know when we're broadcasting, so you can continue to watch us every week, because we, you know, having the big audience does make things a lot more fun, and it's nice to see everybody conversing about whatever we're talking about. So, and of course, you can find us all on Twitter if you want to follow us. Mason is at Macy Pacey, right?
Yes, indeed. And don't forget Lone Wolf and Cub Watch Party, Friday, July 10th. See you there.
Right. Thank you. And Mandy, have you changed your Twitter yet?
No.
No.
I'm thinking about it. I'm giving it thought. It's just going to be, I don't know what it's going to be.
Hunter x Mandy.
Yeah, it's going to be Hunter, Mandy X, Hunter X. Hisoka needs to be in jail.
He definitely does. Wow. But in fairness, a lot of them do. So
everybody in that show, literally.
But yeah,
maybe everybody except for Melody. Melody's the only one. Oh, and Sushi.
Leorio's in charge. He wouldn't put himself in.
Leorio's pretty. Yeah,
Leorio's a doctor, so he's good. Everybody else is questionable.
And Mandy's at AAA_Mandy with an I. I am at Pope Mitsugi, and it was I had a lot of fun with you guys today. We are not going to start our impressions next week, I don't think, because I checked the website here to check the schedule here. I'm going to give you what we're doing next week. We are going to be doing Kaguya-sama Love is War season 2, which will be I'm sure will be very positive. And after that, we're going to do Bofuri, which is also, I'm assuming, going to be a positive review. And then we'll start our summer impressions on about the 26th of July. So look forward to that, guys. And we'll see you next week on the podcast. Thanks again to everybody who listened either live or at home, and we're going to see you back here in a couple minutes for our after party. So stay tuned, and we will see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.